All right, did you guys hear about the Nick Fuentes body cam footage and him pepper spraying the lady and the funny stuff that he said on the body cam footage where he's like, no, I'm Mexican, and all that kind of stuff? You remember that? And how funny that was? Did you guys see that?
Yes.
Okay, so
Well, it was. Yep.
it was really funny yesterday. It was so funny yesterday, and now I messed up really bad because apparently, here's the way I recall it. Apparently today, Nick Fuentes was supposed to have a big court case about this pepper spraying or something. He had a court date, and there were going to be protesters there. Milo said he was going to be there. Then it turns out he just died, I think, instead or something. And it was going to be a big spectacle, right? And last night a gunman tried to murder Nick Fuentes. So it looks like I picked the wrong day to make fun of Nick Fuentes. Now, that would normally not be such a big issue. Lots of people make fun of Nick Fuentes. A lot of people hate him. Here's the problem for me. I don't hate Nick Fuentes. I just don't care about him. I'm not political. I'm not on his side. I'm getting called Jewish all over the internet. There's nothing wrong with that. Nobody said there was anything wrong with that, except for those guys calling me Jewish. But I am not Jewish. And, then there's other people who are like, yay, Jesse, what you've done here is a sight to behold. Nick Fuentes is a cat boy, and he deserves a gun. No, he does not. I can't believe I'm having to say this. He does not deserve a gunman at his house. The reason I bring this up is maybe it turns out he also does not deserve a henchman at his house. And oopsie doodle, dear God, timing is the worst ever. The closest I've ever come to this before was I showed up to a certain pizza place that people were really upset about the day after a gunman showed up to that. I also didn't know about that one. Listen, optically, bad timing. But pretty funny video. I made a pretty funny... We'll show you the video in just a second. Anyway, the point of this episode is oopsie doodle. Sorry to Nick Fuentes. You do not deserve a gunman at your house. Is everybody cool with that? Can we continue now?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Oh, well, okay.
Right.
You might be okay with it, but we got to talk to you, Mr. Weed, in just a second. All right, well, let's go do it. This is Podawful.
Get a job.
All right. Woo!
Hi, it's me, Jesse. Happy to be here, everybody. I'm your host, Jesse P.S. This is Podawful. Welcome.
Hi, henchman. Nobody wants to be called that right now. Everybody's in a little bit of a pain. Everybody was real talkative before the show, and now nobody...
Hi, Jesse.
Nobody wants to be associated all of a sudden. Phase 4? Never heard of it. Huh? What's Phase 4? What? Oh! Oopsie. We might have made a few tactical oopsies. We'll talk about it, okay? This is just a chilled out, having a normal, free discussion. And when I say free discussion, I mean we are not currently in jail or being black bagged and thrown into Gitmo. Here's the deal. I was not prepared at all to do a show, okay? But we've been planning some things. We've had some things in the works. And so what you're seeing right now is like a half a product. I said we'd be coming back and we'd be doing daily live shows. And what you're seeing right now is a little bit of a sneak peek of that, sort of. Just little tiny bits here and there of it. And there's still a lot more to go. to work on here. In fact, the moon base is still in quite a bit of disarray. So please ignore any little hiccups, any other little things along the way. We will be doing a daily show as soon as everything is ready. This is an emergency broadcast. I had to jump on here because I thought that the henchmen were doing a really funny thing. Okay? And it turns out I was right, technically, but also wrong. Spiritually, emotionally, legally, which is bad, it turns out. So we want to try to, correct the record and set everything straight here as quickly as humanly possible before I start getting a knock on my door. Now, how would they knock on the door at a moon base, you ask? I don't know. I hope they don't have jurisdiction up here. So let me explain. Should I show the video first and then just talk our way back to it?
Yeah.
Probably
Let's see it.
I always want to talk
Don't
my
blur
way
the sign.
toward it. I don't have the option. It's blurred. It's naturally blurred. It came with a natural blur to it. Don't blur the sign. Fuck you. All right. Okay. Take a look at this. Now, I'll explain this in just a second, okay? Some of you might just be confused by this. But here's a little video that I put out on Twitter and YouTube today involving my good friend, friend of the show. You know him, you love him. Nicholas J. Fuentes, great guy, and we've always had a huge respect for him.
There's two guys outside Nick's house.
Yeah. Is that a sheriff?
Yeah, looks like a sheriff.
Wait, are they serving him?
He's getting...
Can you zoom in?
Okay, so there's two cops standing outside Nick's house. And also a journalist, I guess. And there's Nick. Some sheriffs came to visit him. This was his court date. This is today. Nick says, "Can you tell this person to stop filming?" They check out the person, and they decide, no, we can't tell them that. So Nick invites in the cops. He works with the cops. Remember that. All right, J6. Now, this part's interesting here. Because they go inside, and now there's a henchman standing outside with a sign that says, going to, I guess, rope Nick Fuentes. I don't really know what that says. Going to, oh, he dropped a sign. Oh, I fixed it. It says, Nick's body, my choice. All right? Yes. Nick's body, my, really soak that in for a second there. I had to edit around this henchman's penis, by the way, because you could just see it. I mean, he wasn't kidding with that sign. He had his penis out. You could see the entire schmember, the whole deal. Okay, so that happened today. Now, if you know what's going on, if you know the full story of what's happening today, which I did not when I posted this video, then you were probably thinking either, number one, Jesse, incredible. This is the funniest thing that's ever happened. Or you were thinking, how do I mass report this guy? Jew, Jew, Jew. Everybody's wrong in this scenario. Okay, I'm wrong. You guys are wrong. We're all wrong for this one. Let's start at the beginning. Does anybody have... Could somebody get me the video, the body cam footage of Nick? Like, just the part where he's on there? Because we really got to walk this through. If you don't know, Nick Fuentes pepper sprayed an old Jewish grandmother. Okay? And maybe he was confused. Maybe he thought that was like a Hanukkah tradition or something. Who knows? You don't know. I mean, these guys, they leave a seat open for Elijah. I assume Elijah Schaefer. And I assume the seat they leave open for him is because they saw Mersh on his show and were frightened by him. So I don't really know any of their customs either. Maybe it's a normal Jewish greeting to pepper spray a grandmother in the face and knock her down the stairs. According to Nick Fuentes, he had been harassed and people were coming after him and people have been showing up to his house. And this all stems from one little moment. In fact, it stems from the very last episode of Podawful. We did election night. And I normally never get political. And look where it's gotten me now. Okay? We did a whole election night show. And Trump, I don't know if you heard of this guy, he won. Does everybody remember that? Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. That was like 3 weeks ago now.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So he's like...
And I thought Kamala was going to win.
Yeah,
oh,
same.
Yeah.
I thought Bernie still had a chance. But, all right, so it turns out this Trump guy is now the president, I guess. And the other guy is a zombie or something. They're saying he's dead. But I keep seeing him. So they're like, walking him around in some sort of Mummenschanz like mimery act. I'm not really sure. It seems like Trump is already president, though, because what happens is a world leader will be like, I hate this other country. And then Trump will go, do you want to have money? And then they go, I'm so sorry. And usually you're not allowed to do that unless you're the president. So I think he's already in. And this really upset a lot of people who are... this is not me saying this, but according to a lot of people in my replies, I assume these people are Jewish. Okay? Jewish people are really upset about this. I don't know what that has to do with anything. Not me. So a lot of folks are really upset. Now, on the night that Trump became the new administrator of the United States, Nick Fuentes made a tweet, and he said, your body, my choice, forever. And I openly said at the time, I think that tweet is really, really funny. I think it's good. It's a great tweet. And it caused a shitstorm for the guy. A really unwarranted shit. I mean, obviously, what is he going to do? What is little tiny Nick Fuentes? Have you seen him sit down? Okay. The dude doesn't just cross his legs, he crosses his arms. I've never seen somebody try to cross. The only guy that crosses more than him sitting down is Mersh and his eyes. So this tweet comes out and people start losing their minds and grannies start showing up to his house and everything gets really bad for him. And I can't stop thinking about this tweet, this your body, my choice, forever tweet. Now, did anybody get that body cam? Where's that body cam? Where can I see
Show
that?
discussion.
Show discussion. Perfect. All right. So let me open this up. Okay. Good. Yeah, this starts, I think, right where I want. I think this
is it the 5-minute one?
I think this has everything
Yeah.
we need. All right. So the body cam, it's now, a month later or something, and the body cam footage of Nick dealing with the cops after spraying Granny in the face is really, everybody's celebrating. They've now got pictures of his mug shot where he looks like a fat guy, and they've got it's all this stuff. And again, I don't even care about Nick Fuentes when it comes to content. The irony of the stew that I'm currently in, the fucking trouble I've just gotten myself into. Oh, but I should have said like, oh my God, we've got a big show. Glomp, glomp, glomp. This should be my biggest show ever, but because there's no run up to it, nobody's even going to see this, okay? So this is a secret show. You guys are getting in on the ground floor with our daily programming, which will start not today. Just to be clear, there won't be a show tomorrow probably, unless I get into more trouble. Okay, so I'm literally just doing a mea culpa. And when I say I fucked up, let me be clear. Legally, Dirk fucked up, but Lisa, really it was Lisa fucked up. But I feel a certain level of troll's remorse in this scenario. Okay, let's just call it that. So here's what happens. The body cam footage comes out, all of the A-logs, all the Nick A-logs, all of the women, all of the abortion-loving women, all of the Jewish people. They all love dunking on Nick Fuentes. And this is legitimately my thought when I saw all this was like, who cares? The mugshot doesn't look that bad. Him getting arrested, some of the pics even kind of make him look cool. It's like the worst thing you can. It's like when Trump had his mugshot. You know, it's like everybody, all the lefty guys try to dunk on it, and everybody on the right's like, he looks awesome. I want to put this on a t-shirt and wear it. And also I want to sell t-shirts of him doing it. No, being on the right isn't a grift. It's not just always entirely a grift. Anyway, buy my shirts. So, by the way, buy my shirts. I probably shouldn't have worn a shirt that says gun in large red letters on this episode. This was probably a mistake.
Wow.
I think it works.
But podawful.shop. Anyway. All right. So the body cam footage, right? I didn't care about this stuff at all, but I watched out of curiosity. What was it, like 2 days ago? This body cam footage
so.
got released?
Yeah.
And again, it just so happens that today was supposed to be Nick's court date for this. So this is all, you know, this stuff that's being released is all in the past. I have a little bit of curiosity. Curiosity killed the cat, and I watched this, and a certain portion of it really leapt out at me. Let's take a look.
Is your name Nick? Yes. Okay, Nick. I'm trying to get your side of the story, and by you acting like this is not helping, man. I got
And by the way,
two stories.
I think Nick handled this situation pretty well. He actually spoke too much to the cops. But I like when a guy stands his ground and says, I'm not talking to you, talk to my lawyer. He did, in this body cam footage, he did almost everything right. I won't jump ahead too much here, but the thing he says, like right toward the end, is exactly what he should have said.
And I'm trying to just kind of find the middle ground.
Well, let me take your card, because I'm not doing an interview.
Huh?
What I'm going to tell you is this.
Well, I heard they're targeting your house.
Yes, I've been
About
harassed
social
for the past
media.
4 days.
Okay, and what is that about?
I posted a joke on the
I should get, you know what? I love seeing an Axon body cam, like the logo here in the corner and all this stuff. I should have that just on the show. Fisheye lens. This is the best way to shoot anything. A fisheye lens with that Axon body cam thing in the corner.
internet. I'm a live streamer.
But at the same time, whenever you see that, you know, like, uh-oh, you're fucked. So that I should really have it on this episode.
You're like a YouTube channel? Or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, similar. Yeah, YouTube, sure. Ever heard of Rumble? Do you have 40 minutes for me to explain to you Rumble? This is my fucking life, is when somebody, you know, I gotta meet some real human being. Ugh, gross, bane of my existence. You know, I'm out there, I'm being forced to touch grass, and somebody's like, "What do you do for a living?" And I have to go, hamana. And then I just lie and say graphic design. That's my new trick. It's not really new. I've been doing this for a while. But I used to say, like, a podcast. And then when people pick their jaw up off the ground afterwards, they were done wiping the sweat off their forehead, I would go, it's like internet radio. You don't understand. And then as they float away from me into outer space, I go, no! So now I just go, I'm a graphic designer. I love seeing an internet guy in this moment where he has to explain to a normal person his life.
You're saying you're a white supremacist?
I'm not a white supremacist. I'm excellent. My last name's Fuentes.
I know.
Wow,
yeah.
exposed.
Yeah, finally. Listen, my name's Fuentes, okay? Hasn't everybody been saying that for years now? He's not, sorry, Nick, you're not in the club. You don't get to be part of the, like, you're never going to be invited on the moon, which is an ethno-state for white people. Only white people have been to, is that still true? Do Chinese people land on the moon physically?
I hope not.
Are they claiming that?
Fitness.
Here's the thing. I believe I'm not a moon landing conspiracy guy unless it's Chinese people or Indian people landing on the moon. And then 100%.
I think that's where Chinese people came from.
That actually makes a lot of fucking sense. Damn it. Fuck. You fucked up my whole idea. Well, I'll say this. I think we're still free from Indians only because, you know, I was doing some one giant leaps for mankind and I didn't land any duty. So Nick Fuentes now admits he is a Mexican. All right. And again, people are flabbergasted by, we've been saying this forever that he's Mexican. I don't know. Like, here's the thing. I don't know if he really is Mexican or how Mexican are you? You know, Louis C.K. is Mexican too. But nobody's like, okay, La Bamba, get out of here. Louis C.K., okay, La Cucaracha, whatever. Get to the Mexican jokes, Carlos, you know, when he's on stage. So if you are being accused by a police officer, all right, let's just say you've accidentally, somehow, no one could even explain this. You've accidentally pepper sprayed an old Jewish woman. We've
All right, good example. Yeah, good example.
We've all been there. I have to stop you there, Cole. Don't ever say "as you do." That is, and I'm not. Everybody does this. I'm not calling you out specifically. That is one of the gayest little tricks that a guy can say. As you do, just avoid it. You'll notice it from now on. I'm ruining it for you. Just avoid it, and then we can all be cool. Okay, listen, I'm having a pretty rough day myself, so don't feel too bad. You know, you said "as you do" like a gay alt comedian. I am now being mass reported by Groypers because I accidentally sent a guy to Nick's house with a sign that says the R word on it, and no, I'm not talking Down syndrome. So, where was I? Okay, so let's say you've accidentally pepper sprayed a Jewish lady, as you do, and yeah, actually, it's good when I say it. Yeah. So you just pepper sprayed some Jewish lady, and now the cops are there. All right, and you're already going, no. And so the cop is like, by the way, are you a white supremacist? I'd be throwing every other thing. Listen, I got back my 23andMe. Turns out it's 24. It is the other R word. Now, I got back my ancestrydna.com results, and it's true. It's white as the driven snow, okay? I'm dreaming of a certain kind of Christmas, and it don't involve anybody who's never been to the moon. Let's just put it that way. No, but seriously, I'm
happy holidays.
All right.
A mighty HHU pod. That's all I was trying to say.
Okay, thank you. Happy holidays to be here. So I am as white can be. And if the cops were like, "Are you a white supremacist?" I would be like, "Excuse me, sir, but I have Cherokee DNA going back many moons." And then I would start drinking my fire water and sending smoke signals for my lawyer to come. So this is like a good move on his part to say, I'm a Mexican, you know? I mean, of course. And also, the cop, I think, is Mexican. So it's like, you know, hey, hombre, me? White supremacist?
Yo, mi hermano.
Yo, Holmes, no, I could never be a white supremacist. What with me being like you? Me and you are the same type of dude and always have been. What's that? Suddenly I'm unbuttoning every button on my shirt except the very top one? Don't think about it. Don't worry about it, Holmes. Hey, you mind if I sit down and pull up my tube socks all the way to my kneecaps?
All right, anyway, so that's a good move on Nick's part. He's doing the right thing. The guy, you know, he's a sovereign citizen.
I saw that. Okay.
And if you can't really understand or hear, don't worry. We'll translate the parts you need to understand.
But I mean, you know, this 2024 man, you make one bad joke and this happens, especially right now after Trump won, man. Right. Okay.
Now, all right, it's a real bad win. The Mexican cop is saying to you, like, you know, Trump just won, so we have to be careful. We now live in a different world. It's like he was president 4 years ago, and everything is like there wasn't a nuclear explosion after that or anything, and now we're all mutant people with one arm growing out of our head, and we're all suddenly.
He's a Cook County police officer. Of course, he's going to be against Trump.
Am I right, folks? As you do. We all know what that means. I don't know anything about Cook County. This is another thing people are getting wrong. I really wish, you know, the henchman that showed up to Nick's house in that video you saw. Number one, I wish he wasn't a big fat guy with his wiener hanging out. And number two,
Me too.
And number two, I wish it was clearer that it is not me. In that I did not go to Nick. A lot of people think it's me. They're like telling me, "Take off your mask, coward." And I'm like, that's not how this works.
Yeah, but
it's a very political.
I don't know anything about Cook County or what any of that means.
we also live in a free country where you can.
Hang on, Cole. Hang on. This part's important. He says, we also live in a free country where you can express yourself. I agree, Nick. We're in total agreement on that
You know what?
one, right?
I 100% agree with him too.
Oh yeah, big time. We all understand that one.
Without people showing up
Yeah.
and trying to hurt you.
Oh, I'm sorry. She's across the street. Yeah.
She's the one on her phone?
Yeah, she's the one on her phone.
What's the story?
Apparently, well, what I'm getting is this guy over here is made a bad joke online, and now people are targeting his house. This lady that's, she came over here, ran into the door. Apparently, he sprayed her with mace in the eyes and pushed her down the stairs.
Apparently.
So she just wants to report, so like for
It
now,
was hilarious.
so get his side of the story. I guess she fell into the concrete. I make sure she's okay, and then her eyes, apparently she has pepper spray.
What a pussy.
Huh?
All right, I hate to do this to you guys, but we're streaming at an odd time. I have to go India style, okay? Sorry, it just hit me out of nowhere like a sack of batteries. Right now, I'm about to do it, okay?
You're about to
if I don't get up right
Indian
now,
style, you just do it in your chair.
one of the things I've been trying to build into the moon base here is a toilet chair where I can just sit here. But anyway, I need you guys to fill the time. So talk about Nick Fuentes or something. Good luck, everybody.
Oh no.
Oh no. I always
Nick
thought one
is
of
gay.
the worst. I always thought one of the worst things you can tell a cop if they ask, "Are you a white supremacist?" is, "Look, officer, I do a podcast," and sometimes it gets real political. I thought they would have just arrested him
You
right
figure.
there.
Yeah. Well, that's happening right now. This is too much.
Dirk,
I
you
don't- I'm not
didn't
even
you didn't do the
familiar with all
triple
the
homicide,
names.
right? That wasn't you.
No. I'm still alive. That guy
Oh,
was
yeah.
shot.
definitely him.
All right.
Definitely him.
Get the fuck
Yep.
out of here.
Oh yeah, did that guy died to shoot out with the cops?
Yeah, he
What
died.
actually happened with the Nick Fuentes shit? What is going on with this?
Dirk's a ghost right now, duh.
Wait,
Well,
Cole, what do you
some guy
know or
got-
what don't you know?
I don't know anything. I
A
know
man
that
with
like,
a gun and a crossbow wearing a motorcycle helmet who is wanted for like a multiple homicide
murder.
and just shot
The crossbow's
two dogs
pretty
down the
badass.
street, showed up
Not
to
gonna
Nick's
lie.
house,
Okay.
rang his doorbell
Like
and said,
last
"Hey,
night."
Nick."
that's
And
very
then-
funny.
And then
That's incredible. I mean,
A
that's
henchman-
terrifying for Nick, but that's very funny.
After all that happened, a certain henchman did do the sign thing.
The
and then
certain
Jesse
weed-loving
uploaded it
henchman.
right as Nick was releasing the video of the murderer
It
at
was
his doorstep.
The timing was crazy.
Oh.
It's
I don't know what the second thing was. The henchman thing.
Did you see the
A
video?
certain weed-loving
Yeah.
henchman went to Nick Fuentes'
I
house
have been home
today.
for like less than
the
an
day
hour.
after
that
someone
happened?
went to Nick Fuentes' house last night attempting to
Murder him.
Oh.
But he started the
Nick
show by
Fuentes.
showing us that. You don't remember? Remember like the beginning of the show? Remember that?
No,
What
I
we
wasn't
watched?
here.
Oh,
No.
okay. My bad.
Go
Cole
check
came
it
in
on Twitter,
cold.
Cole.
Female
Well,
cop.
I'm usually not late to the party on these things. Give me a
It's
break.
all
I
right,
usually
Cole.
know these things.
we're
Well,
losing
this is an
viewers, guys.
emergency situation.
Yeah,
This
did you
is an
hate the
emergency.
henchman? Remember that.
Wonder if Jesse's listening to us on his show
He
while
is.
he poops out of his butt.
Yeah,
Almost
it's a
certainly.
test.
Man, his 1
Hey, we're
week
supposed
shit
to-
had to happen right now.
We're supposed to be
Dude,
talking
that's
about Nick
crazy.
Oh,
No,
Fuentes.
That's
the
audience
so
hates
fucking-
us being on the show, and they're not wrong.
That is crazy and like
Oh, they're
funny.
They
though,
never
like,
like us. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
Who cares?
Yeah, so, like,
Chat
somebody
saying
did-
about
Pod
us.
right now, he is gone. He's never coming
so
back.
somebody
Yep, it's a
somebody did
henchman
like
show from now on, bitches. Get
Yep.
over it.
somebody
It's a
did
new
like
era.
the boogie 29. Is it 2988?
2988. Yep.
They did the boogie thing, but the guy they sent is an actual murderer and was like killing cats down the street.
No, he killed a dog right at his neighbor's place.
God,
By the way-
damn.
2 dogs, actually, yeah.
Ali Jamal was the one filming outside the house. If you're a Groyper
Man, that is
watching,
a great. Oh fuck! I don't
Kill
know.
Harry
how to
says,
go.
"This is
I
so
don't know which
horrible."
way to go.
Go
10
to
people,
wisdom.
0
I can't tell if this
charisma.
is-
No.
Kill
can't
yourself, kill Harry.
Funniest thing, or just
Oh, hi,
terrible?
Ali Jamal. Oh, hey, Ali Jamal.
hey Ali.
Is that possible? Can
Oh,
it be
hi,
both?
Ali.
Both
Hello.
are terrifying.
Ali Jamal.
and also
Hey,
Did you see
hilarious?
what happened
Cole,
to Nick, Ali?
I'm at Amfest right now.
What's
Dang,
that?
The
you're
hell
missing
is
out on
that?
everything.
I'm
America
at
Fest.
I'm at America Fest. What is
I
it?
was supposed to be there. It's too bad I couldn't meet you, Allie.
Everybody, welcome Ali
I
Jamal.
was supposed to go to the People's Conference, but I got my email in my spam last minute.
Did you see what happened last night at Nick Fuentes' house?
Yeah, play for the guy.
Did you see what happened
No,
today?
the guy's dead.
No, play for Nick Fuentes. That's what I said. That's what I was trying to say. Yeah, play
Yeah,
for Nick
did you see what
Fuentes.
else happened to Nick
Hashtag
today?
pray for
Wait,
Nick
you're not gonna pray for the dead murderer?
Yeah,
Did
pray
you
for
see
him.
the guy in the jumpsuit go to Nick's house?
I mean,
Today?
look, Ali, I know he's a bad guy.
I'm not.
I know he's a bad guy. Hear me out here. I know he's a bad guy. He's a murderer and he's a terrible person. But do not they also deserve their last rites? I mean, if you
Yeah, what would
repent,
Jesus do, Ali Jamal?
if he repents, like what if the last thought he had before dying was that he was sorry for all those things he did?
He's gone.
Oh boy, he
damn.
disappeared.
I
He's
think we
gone. He
I
left.
don't know, bombarded
I'm
him with
sorry.
too many questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought that would be a funny question to
Yeah,
ask a
I
guy.
thought it would be okay. Thought he'd
He
be
doesn't
all right.
want. He just doesn't
He
want
has
to think
very
about
strange
last minute
boundaries.
redemption.
I mean,
Boundaries.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I think that guy's a pedophile. I
Wow.
usually
Say
just think
that.
that just because he
Well,
sounds.
We don't
like
really
a
want to
white
say that word while we're live on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know we're live, right, Colt?
I forgot. I'm sorry. Thank you, Lenny. For
Oh my gosh.
Jared, don't unmute yourself.
I have a
for the love of
speech
God.
impediment. I have a speech impediment. I said paraphernalia.
Man. What a day, man.
Yeah, if only an Indian man would poop outside Nick Fuentes' house.
I wish Ali Jamal would have stayed. Jesse could have asked him questions.
Yeah.
I got smashed in the face with rebar today.
How does your face look?
Yeah.
Wait,
Wait, what size rebar was it? Like a number 6?
Let's see. It was just. I mean,
Leo says,
it
"Make
was like a
Podawful
cage of
Jesse
shit.
again?"
It was
I agree
mostly.
with you,
Okay,
Elio.
did you guys keep the show entertaining, or is everybody?
No,
Ali Jamal came in.
Ali Jamal was in here.
Ali Jamal
It's
was
been
in
a
here. You
train
guys
wreck.
didn't even keep
Yes.
him
Yeah.
around. What the?
We tried.
Cole scared him off.
All right, but we're still gonna
I
put
did.
him in the credits so that we get that sweet Ali bump. All right.
Yeah.
One thing I need to develop for the show, I came up, while I was sitting there on the toilet squeezing turds from my colon, I was thinking, what can I do in these scenarios? These scenarios don't happen too often. It's usually when the stream is going outside of normal streaming times, where suddenly I get a toilet attack. So I think what I came up with while I was sitting there on the bowl, that porcelain throne, is it's a new segment for Podawful in our new phase 4, our digital future. This is a little segment. It's going to become your favorite segment of the show. It's going to be called Toilet Time, Toilet Time, Toilet Time, Toilet Time. And what I need is I'm going to have I can already picture it. There's going to be graphics on screen. It's going to say Toilet Time with a big exclamation point. And you're going to be so excited. And whenever this happens, I just, boom, click one button. We instantly enter toilet time. And during toilet time, I have a playlist of like classic Podawful clips and bits, just little things that can just play to sit there and keep everybody happy and entertained. And you go, oh yeah, I remember that, tee-hee-hee. And there's little dancing toilets on top, and King K. Rool is there for some reason. And there's slime dripping from the top. And you're like, yes, toilet time. And you're going to love it so much that by the time I come back to the show, you're going to be wishing we had just stayed in toilet time, to be honest.
It's going to be like Friday night hangout explosion. People are going to show up and like, what the fuck is this Podawful shit? I thought this was toilet time, the show.
Yeah, I should have washed my hands, by the way. Yuck. All right, well, that's one small step for man right there. Okay.
Toilet.
All right, so what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, Nick Fuentes. I'm in trouble. Fuck. All right. So, Nick Fuentes, here's the body cam. Whatever we were saying before that doesn't matter. Here's the body cam footage, okay?
No, that's what she's claiming. So I'm gonna speak to the other party here and see what actually what happened.
Yeah. Let me just drink my black goo. This won't hurt in any way.
Hey man, did you spray her with pepper spray?
I'm not doing an interview right now.
Huh?
Black goo, Texas tea.
And my defense attorney in touch with you. Not doing
this is a report. I'm trying to.
I'm not going to talk.
Get him, Nick.
All I'm going to say is I'm a high-profile person. I want someone stationed here. 20 people came by last night. I had paid security. They documented all of it.
Where's security?
I called. They're coming tonight at 7 o'clock.
Now, I know this is very hypocritical of me to say. I feel bad. Here's why I started feeling bad for Nick, okay? Before this ever happened, he contacted the cops and said, people are coming after me. Now, like him or not, he's gay or he's not, he's right. He's a high-profile person. And he's living in what looks like fucking 1800s jolly old England. I don't know what the fuck this neighborhood is. It's so bizarre looking for America. And guess what? And you can sit there and be like, oh, he needs 24/7 security for free from the police. He was right. A gunman came to his house. By the way, a gunman with a crossbow. Now, I don't know. And again, this is why this is bad for me. I don't know if you know anything about the history of Podawful, if you've really delved deep into the archives. But infamously, one of my first, earliest, famous forays online, and Cole's laughing because he knows what I'm about to say here, is I got a little visit from the Secret Service. Okay, this was 2012, I think. 2011, 2012, somewhere in there. And I got a visit because I said I was going to go as a joke on a podcast that 10 million people listen to, that I was going to go to the White House with a crossbow. Okay? Now, I said some other stuff too, but we won't get into that. And the Secret Service didn't cotton to it. They didn't take too kindly to my words. So this dude showed up with a fucking crossbow. This is the worst timing ever. Are you starting to see the picture here? We did not know about the gunman before the henchman showed up. In fact, nobody knew about it. It was not public information when the Podawful henchman showed up that a gunman had tried to kill Nick. Okay? And that's causing quite a bit of alarm in the conspiracy circles on the internet right now. How did we know to be there when the cops were there? How, when no one knew this had happened, did we know to go film it? I'll explain it to you in just a bit. But the point is, Nick is right. He tried. He tried to prevent having to pepper spray an old Jewish grandma, and no, it fell on deaf ears. Now, I'm nowhere near as high profile or even profile as Nick Fuentes, but I had a guy one time come to my house, a crazed lunatic, an actual convicted paranormal guy, a dude who was taken to jail not once but twice for crimes against children, okay? Now, I'm not a child, so I wasn't too concerned, but he had shown me photos of him brandishing what he was claiming was a real gun. I also knew it was not a real gun, but he came to my house and he dropped off a package. And that package could have been anything. Could have been a nice little, snack pack for me of pudding. Or it could have been a homemade bomb. I didn't know. This is when I lived in New York, similar to Chicago, big city, New York City. New York, unique in that it has experienced, I don't know if you're familiar, terrorism before. Not just one time, and sometimes with bombs. And I figured if you call up the police in New York City and you go, I'm not 100% sure, but I think a guy might have left a bomb outside my house, they might send the bomb squad. Generally speaking, the day is pretty... You think firefighters have it easy? A firefighter is sitting around just making sandwiches all day. Most of their day is spent learning how to make, the best BLT. And then every once in a while, a fire happens and they go, oh boy, and they get to slide down their little pole and play fireman. And then they get there and it turns out it wasn't a fire at all and they have nothing to do. That's like most of what a firefighter does, right? Imagine being the bomb squad. That it must be once in a blue fucking moon for them to even be called out. Now, you know, it's not like with the fire department, a guy is choking and for some reason the fire department shows up. They're like, well, I don't know, just send them. Send anybody. The guy's about to die. Get him out there. Imagine if they did that with the bomb squad. They send that robot out to Heimlich the guy. And you would kind of go, all right, that makes sense. Our taxpayer dollars at work. We fucking paid for that robot. Might as well put it to some use. So you would think that maybe they'd send out the robot. Instead, what happened was when I called them up, they were like, okay. And I gave them the address. And then they said, all right, we'll be there soon. And then no one ever showed up. Nobody came. They were never going to come. I called them back and they're like, we don't have time. Now, they had time. I'll tell you this. They had time twice. They had time twice to come at one time to falsely arrest me. To arrest me on, by the way, terrorism charges. The cops managed to come to the exact same address to arrest me for being a terrorist. And a second time, they had all the time in the world to come there and trample over my constitutional rights and come in with no warrant because a girl asked them to. A girl said she just didn't feel safe enough to move her stuff out. Her stuff was already out, by the way. It was nothing had happened to it. Nothing happened to her. But the cops came and they had all the time in the world. And when I told them, you don't have any right to be in here, you have to leave, they said no. And there's 4 of us and make us. And I still have the footage of that, by the way, just in case. So this is something I can empathize with. And if you're wondering why I'm having a little bit of troll's remorse on this one, Nick asked the cops to do something, and they did nothing, which is what cops mostly do. They're only interested in making an arrest or beating up a guy, or preferably both. And if they can throw a little murder of a dog in there for good measure, they're all over it. As a matter of fact, supposedly, I don't remember what the story was entirely. Maybe we should get into the gunman story here in a second. But I guess he shot some dogs.
Yeah.
If I'm going to be conspiracy minded about anything with this, the cops killed the dogs. They're blaming the dead dog because the gunman's dead now. So they tell no tales. So the cops just killed the dogs for fun. And they're like, oh, it was him. They're still holding the smoking pistols. It was him. It was that guy.
Cops love killing dogs.
There's something about a dog where a cop's like, what would that look like bleeding? And I don't know what it is. Maybe that's why they get into being a cop. You would think you could just become, a veterinarian. You'd get to see dogs die all day. Being a fake.
Or Chinese.
Or, yeah, run a Chinese restaurant. Why not?
There's 2 types of people that kill cats and dogs when they're children. It's serial killers and police officers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, same kind of guy, really. And Chinese people. 3 kinds of people. But anyway. So
they use every part of the dog-a-low.
Maybe this is a bad take. I don't know. But when I watched this 2 days ago, I was on Nick's side. So I know it seems retarded now that I'm saying that, but just stick with me, okay?
I can't afford to have it 24 hours. I called.
He can't afford 24-hour. So, okay, well, then I guess you're not so high profile then. Sorry, I thought you were rich. Oh, my gosh. What, the Groypers don't have enough money? Send a few more super chats so Nick can afford safety.
Earlier, because somebody else was in front taking pictures of my house. Cops drove by, saw the car that I reported with the license plate, make and model, and they didn't even stop. Okay. And the lady stood there filming my house, pointing at my house, gesturing to it. This has been going on for the past 3 days. I've been calling the police. Clearly, no one's taking it seriously.
You're not hurt or anything, are you?
No, I'm okay.
All right. I'll go check.
Yeah. By the way, he's got a little bit of nerd adrenaline running through the system. You can see his lips are doing that tightening up thing. He's like on the verge of tears. But I don't blame him. This is a fucking high, tense situation.
Thank you.
Look, man, like, to be honest, I'm trying to talk to you, get your side of the story.
Oh, to be honest? Oh, a cop saying to be honest? Well, to be honest, go fuck yourself. You've never been honest ever? Oh, I'm sorry. A cop's being honest? Oh, okay. What's that? Oh, a pig's flying. So, not you, sir. Not you, officer. No, a different.
For the whole thing, I'm not.
You're not here to help me. I know.
Well, I'm not here to help you?
No.
Yeah. Correct. 100%. Yes.
Based.
Yeah. Again, I don't have a side. All right. We're following the funny. We're solving world comedy.
I just got here. How do you know if I'm here to help you?
I know my rights. I'm not trying to fight with you, but I'm also not going to be telling you.
I thought this was America.
I want your card.
I was
My
okay.
defense
Look,
attorney will call you.
You mind if I just say something right quick?
Go ahead, sure.
First of all, I might have to get your information.
Sure.
You have to provide that. 'cause
Oh, look at that. A cop wants to use his First Amendment right all of a sudden. No. How about that?
there was a crime.
How about I beat you in the head with a baton instead? You sure you want to go that route? You really trying to do this right now? What is that fucking thing a cop always says? Do we really want to go this route? Do you really want to go this route? The route where I don't get in trouble because the law says I shouldn't get in trouble for a thing? Yeah, I do want to go that route.
Yes.
All right. So, second of all, from what I get, I don't care really. I don't care what you said online. I really don't care whether it was left leaning, right leaning, in the middle. I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay. And to me, no. Now, I would hate if I was living here, whether I made a bad joke intentionally, whether I meant it or not, and somebody was showing up to my house.
Why is Nick Fuentes doing faces like he's Jim Carrey in The Grinch?
Again, it's the nerd adrenaline running through his. When you've got that blood pumping, that adrenaline coursing through your veins, there's something it does to your face where it starts getting tight, and you don't know what to do with your face anymore. And it specifically affects the lips; they start curling it. This is a thing I've never heard anybody else notice this. I noticed it for the first time when my body one time went into shock. I was at the hospital and I was in so much pain, my body went into shock. Okay. And I always thought that was like a fake thing, but I thought that was like from the movies or like a woman lying. You know how women claim they can feel pain, but we know better, fellas.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about. So, women mistake
Hell yeah.
women mistake mild discomfort for pain. Women, of course, have never experienced pain in any form. That's why they think that giving birth is painful. The one thing they are designed to do is somehow painful. Are you like retarded? No, it's like mildly inconvenient. And because women are never inconvenienced, they're like, oh, fuck! No! Give me drugs! Put drugs inside my baby! So, that's how women operate. So, but it turns out going into shock is real. It happened to me. And, I might not look like it. I can tolerate a high level of pain because in all reality, I am, and I have been, ever since I was 18 years old, basically, I have been operating on a baseline level of pain the entire time. I'm just always in pain. And so now it's kind of becomes background noise. I'm the opposite of a woman in that way, where it's just this constant, higher threshold of pain. So this was extreme. When I was in the hospital, this was extreme. And my body starts going into shock. My limbs and my face went ghost white. And I'm already, again, the ancestry DNA is in. It's as ghostly as it can be already. There's like haunted spooks and specters from Great Britain in there going, boo, I'm your great aunt. And I'm like, what? What does that have to do with this story I'm telling? So my fingers started curling it and I couldn't move. And I was going, ugh! I looked like, a victim of The Ring. Ugh! And my face started tightening up. And my girlfriend was there with me, my girlfriend at the time. She's like holding my hand, and I've got this like death grip on her. I can't control any of this. And she starts going, what is it? What's wrong? Now we're in an ambulance. I said it was at the hospital. This is actually in an ambulance. We're in an ambulance and on our way there. And it's like, what's wrong? You know what's wrong. We're in a fucking ambulance, you dumb bitch. But I try to tell her what's going on, right? I'm trying to explain to her, like, I can't feel anything. It's so painful now that my body has decided, nah, we're just going to turn all that off because we can't take anymore. My body became autistic. It was so overstimulated that it couldn't contain one more. It's like when Chris Chan goes, huh. that's what my body did. It was like, huh. All right, I'm going to turn that
You
on.
merged the universes of pain.
Yeah, the dimensions. So I try to tell her what's wrong. I go, and I couldn't talk. My tongue was numb. I couldn't feel it. And my lips had curled in so hard. They were wrapped around my teeth. And I just could not physically move my mouth the proper way. That was the first time I noticed that this is a thing that happens where I think that was part of it. It was like my blood is fucking pumping, trying to get to my extremities and failing. And in that moment, it just does something to your face. And so when you know, I've talked about this on the show pretty recently, actually, but when you go like a redneck, like white trash dude who's about to fight, but he's also on the verge of tears, that's who you need to, if you want to study this phenomenon. Watch that guy. A dude who keeps saying, motherfucker. If you've ever heard a guy go, motherfucker, that's what's happening to him. Watch the lips. Might be hard to tell. He might have the, trash stash or the goatee, hiding it to some degree, but just take a look. And there's this going on. He might look like that naturally, by the way. A Clay Combs. A comedy she.
I was just about to say, Shaman does that a lot.
But his teeth are also Ditalini, so, it's kind of, it doesn't really mean anything. But
I think they're vacuum tubes. They're sucking his lips into them.
Well,
that's why he talks like that.
That's what makes him a radio shaman, actually, is because he's got all these.
Oh my god, the fucking radio shaman
His
shit.
mouth is a tube amplifier.
Yeah.
So we got.
The
talking about Nick, not Trump.
He's not insane because he's got, he's got radio waves going off inside his brain. Like the voices he hears, he's picking up AM stations and shit. When he's like,
changes tubes.
when he says like, "Oh, I'm listening to Art Bell," he doesn't have a radio anywhere nearby. So, and it's also a transmission from the past. Okay, so that's the thing. Nick is experiencing that right now. He's on the verge of one single tear and also calling this officer a motherfucker. I've been calling the cops for the past 3 days, motherfucker. And again, this isn't to make fun of him. This is just, that's a totally reasonable state to be in at this point.
Right? Can we agree on that? I'm actually agreeing with you that people shouldn't show up to your house. But now you don't want to cooperate with me. You don't want to ask. Okay. Now, I'm trying to get whether she actually did anything to prevent or to provoke you to pepper spray her and push her down the stairs. Those are bad allegations. So I'm trying to get your side as well.
Now, he's actually a little bit under control here because he's doing the classic nodding, but what he's really doing is waiting for the guy to shut up to go, I'm not responding. That's a good move. Oh, yeah. Oh, you're saying stuff? Forget about it. That's actually a really fun thing to do. In fact, just start doing that to random people in your life. Sit there, act like you're really taking it, especially, if you got a significant other, a lady in your life. Really act like you're seriously listening to her vapid, dumbass story about the thing that didn't happen at work today. When she's got some story about some shit that isn't a story about some shit to tell you. When she wants to tell you about her dreams. Oh, yeah. And then she finally shuts up and you go, Yeah, I'm not going to respond to that. Just throw out one of those. See what happens.
If you don't tell me.
She slaps you. You start going, okay, motherfucker. Oh, fuck. I actually went back in the footage.
She just wants to report.
Called. They're coming tonight at 7 o'clock. Stationed here. 20 people came. Saw the car that I reported.
Am I ahead? Where am I?
I'm a high-profile.
You're behind. You're like 3 minutes, I think.
And they didn't even stop. Okay. And the lady stood there filming my house, pointing at my house, gesturing to it.
Be honest, I'm trying to talk to you, get your side of the story.
There you go.
Okay, look, you mind if I just say something right quick?
Go ahead, sure.
First, leaning in the middle, I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay, and to me, no. Now, I would hate if I was living here, whether I made a bad joke intentionally, whether I meant it or not, and somebody was showing up to my house. That's kind of like wrong, right? Can we agree on that? I'm actually agreeing with you that people shouldn't show up to your house. But now you don't want to cooperate with me. You don't want to ask. Okay. Now, I'm trying to get whether.
You know, they should never teach cops the word cooperate. It's like you can avoid a lot of society's ills if they just never ever said that word.
Definitely don't co-op with the cop.
Did anything to prevent to provoke you to pepper spray and push down the stairs. Those are bad allegations. So I'm trying to get you side of the story. To me, if you don't tell me anything, I'm gonna say you want to cooperate, but they don't want to answer the question.
You know what's a funny thing is, you ever see these cop videos, these body cam videos, where the cop is talking to the guy and trying to fool him into, getting himself in trouble by talking, and the guy's like, "I'm telling you the truth. Let me be honest with you. I'm your friend here. If you tell me," and then if you listen really carefully over their radio in the background, he's got the radio on his shoulder. The guy on the radio is like, "Yeah, go ahead and get this guy to admit to fucking doing all these felonies and raping these people because we're going to go ahead and arrest this black. Yeah, the suspect is, what again? Black? Yeah, he's guilty." Every once in a while, the radio chatter is basically saying, like, "You're fucked, you're fucked, you're fucked." And the guy will still be like, "Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll tell you everything I know, officer."
Here's my side story. I'm here for my life. People have been posting my address online for the past 3 days.
Did the person on the radio just say, "I am retarded"?
No. Does that answer your question?
Telling me they're coming to kill me, they're coming to rape me.
Okay. Now this is the part. This is the part that stuck out to me. All right. This is how we've ended up in this mess. He claims that not only are people called up and told him they're coming to kill him, but they're coming to rape him.
Look at the cop right there. Adrian's too.
This is a grown man. I mean, listen, if a guy said he's coming to kill me, he's coming to kill my family, sure, I'm going to take that seriously. If a guy says he's coming to rape me, the grown man that I am, I would go, "You know what? Let's try. Actually, try me. Let's see what happens. I'm willing to take that bet. Okay? I want to see what happens. I kind of want to see if you can do it. Now,
whose neck in this pause screen is more tilted, the cops or Nick's?
The fisheye lens, I believe. They're all sort of just warping in. It's like, it's the same way they fool you into thinking the Earth is a globe. But I would actually allow the guy a chance to come at me to rape me. Kill me, that's a different story. Okay? Who knows? I don't know what his firepower might be. But as far as rape goes, I have a pretty good idea of his firepower. And to be honest, is it now here's a real question for if there's lawyers or cops out there. Are you allowed to rape back in self-defense? It's a question. I'm just asking. I'm not insinuating you should in any way. But if it's a self-defense rape, are you allowed to do, if it's like two guys doing like a sort of Puerto Rican knife fight, but they're both fully nude and holding their cocks, throbbing at each other, and you can hear that Star Trek, and they're just kind of going around in a circle at each other. Who rapes who in this scenario? Now, I'm willing to take that on. So when Nick said that, I'm like, he's worried about people coming to rape him. The whole reason this is happening is because he said you're allowed to do that. Your body, my choice, forever. He seems to have forgotten the forever part. This is only 3 days later, by the way. Like, how do you forget forever in 3 days? So that is the sticking point for me. This is getting us in so much trouble. Okay, this little line right here, the man is in fear for his whole. And by the way, how about this? How about anti-Nick guys? If he was gay, wouldn't he want to be raped?
What is the statute of limitations on like rape self-defense? Can you do it? Like if somebody tries to kill you, can you rape them in self-defense?
I think
You can kill from a
There's
distance.
the only way to stop them.
I
Making them come.
reach from a moderate distance.
I think your window is very, very slim. You know, it's like you only get a little.
It's like voluntary manslaughter. It has to happen immediately after.
You get a crack of light through that fucking window, and even dipping your toe in, you might be in trouble. But I don't know. Fucking Lena Dunham got away with it. She shoved pebbles up her sister's pussy as a child. I don't know if it was in self-defense. I don't know how it could be in
You never know.
You never know. You never know.
Self-defense molestation is not the same as self-defense rape.
It's impossible to know for sure. All right, so that was the line. I couldn't get over. I watched him say he was in fear for being raped over and over again. I don't know what it is. It just stuck with me.
I'm going to kill me. They're coming to rape me.
They're coming to kill me. They're coming to rape me. And so, you know what it is? It's partially the way he says it, because it's like, it sounds like my impression of Nick Fuentes when he does it, where he's like, I feel like he's about to say, I mean, first of all, Star Wars, you know, Revenge of the Sith, they're coming to kill me. They're coming to rape me. And the way he lists it off is so casual, too. It's like, you know, it's the equivalent of a guy, you know, you're at the TSA and they're like, do you have anything to declare? And you're like, I've got my bags filled with plutonium. It's no big deal. And you're like, what? You can't be that cat. They're coming to rape you? They're coming to rape me. I mean, maybe this is a, you know, pretty common thing in his life, though. Who knows?
I have all screenshots, some pictures showing how long it's going to take to get to my house. And I
It's literally the same voice.
No.
all day, and that's my side of the story. So
with her, you're not
my
gonna-
life,
you're not
I
gonna-
haven't.
But he as gay as it sounds, he's going to win this court case because he goes, I'm in fear for my life. I've got screenshots to prove it. So now this is the coolest part. And in a way, we sort of are helping Nick's case. I'm now spinning. I'm going to spin it as we helped because he's going, I've got the screenshots to prove it. I'm in fear for my life. Now he has carte blanche. And who wouldn't love this? To pepper spray Jewish grandmothers. Okay. And by the way, you know, I keep mentioning this Jewish.
I'm jealous.
I keep mentioning this Jewish thing, but who's the number one person who would want to be able to pepper spray a Jewish grandmother? A Jewish grandson, okay? These ladies will nag your ear. Why aren't you married yet? You could have been a doctor. You think they're not sitting there wanting to mace, bubala in the face? What do they call them? My boobkey?
I think it's
Oh, God,
yeah.
you're gonna be a streamer? Ah, God. Why don't you just be an orthopedic surgeon like your cousin? I mean, you know, there's so many better ways to make a living. I mean, a streamer that's mercurial. I mean, you a sugar bubbler?
Baba Yaga.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I'm not going to respond to that. Right in Granny's face. Stupid bitch. All right, so then what happens? Okay.
I haven't slept for a few days. I've got nowhere to go.
He hasn't slept. Wow.
That's my side.
I've got nowhere to go, he says. That's a terrifying thing. I mean, what you do is, you know, a hotel. You're allowed. There is nothing stopping you. Can he not? So I know he claims he was debanked, which I think was debunked. But is he de-hoteled? Is he de-card? Like, is he not allowed to go places?
With her, did you push her on the stairs?
340 at 1446.
No comment on that. No comment. Did you pepper spray her or anything?
No comment. Could you give me your card?
I don't have a card, but
All right, there you go. So, you know, mostly a good showing from Nick there, I think. Me personally. So, a gunman showed up last night. Now, okay, again, we gotta walk through this though.
Oh, very carefully, yes.
Very carefully. All right. Everybody following so far? I haven't really been paying attention to chat. Everyone getting what's happening here? So,
no.
Milo Yiannopoulos. Now, I was going to do a whole show. I was hoping to get Milo on the show, actually. I was going to do a whole show at least about Milo, and I still will, by the way. I'm not going to allow like the time skip here to affect anything. I have certain shows lined up already for you for our daily streams, and I'm doing them, even if it's been fucking 2 months and it makes no sense anymore, but I'm doing them. And so I started talking to Milo Yiannopoulos because Milo Yiannopoulos became enemies with our goon, Alex Stein. You're going to love that episode. It's so good.
Oh,
so
I know.
fun.
I'm excited for that one.
It's a good one. Right around the same time, all this Nick stuff starts happening. Milo hates Nick. I don't know why. I don't care. I think Milo's written a book about how Nick is gay and bad, which is funny. Listen, and say what you will about Milo, he's funny. And Nick is funny. I can't hate these guys because they are funny. And I don't give a shit about their politics either. It is literally just like this dude says shit that makes me laugh. So I was talking to Milo in DMs, and around this time he tweets out that Nick's court date is today. He this was days ago. He didn't say today, but he gives today's date. And he says he's going to be there at the court on the steps ready to do something. Now, Dirk, you saw this tweet, right? What exactly did he say?
What did he say? It's in JK Ultra. He said Nick's court day on the 19th. Who else is going?
Right. So Dirk said me. Okay. I don't know why Dirk did it, but he did. And
Well, I mean, you said you should just go too.
Oh, right. It was me. Okay. Well,
looks like technically you did show up.
Is there such a crime as conspiracy to rape an adult man? Because if so, no, I did not tell you that. All right, no. Obviously, Milo said he's going to be there to be a troll and cause havoc.
Yeah.
And we have been entering phase 4, and we're doing more IRL trolling and stuff. So I thought, here's what I thought. In my head, you know what it is? I'm retarded. Okay. Again, I got back my 25 in me, and it told me yes. And I pictured it being like in the movies where, it's a courthouse with a big marble staircase. And and there's reporters everywhere going, with their microphones and their cameras, and Nick is coming down the steps like, no, come on, everybody. I literally didn't even know what the case was exactly for. I knew it was this pepper spray thing, but I didn't know if it was like just an arraignment or they're just setting another court date or it would actually be decided. But in my head, I'm picturing it like they've decided he's not guilty and he's being like, yeah, I did it. And the reporters are all angry because they're journalists and he's Nick Fuentes. That's what I picture. Oh, and then they're behind the journalists, there's protesters picketing with signs. This is literally what I pictured. And then a limo pulls up and Nick gets in the limo and doves fly away. And then a guy comes out with a gun. Now, the weird part is I did picture the guy with a gun. But that's because I was thinking like a movie. I didn't know it was going to happen. So I thought that was going to be the case. So I thought, how funny would it be if a henchman in full uniform, the yellow jumpsuit, the red, everything, if he's there, and this is what I pictured, he's amongst the protesters who are anti-Nick Fuentes, and they've all got their signs saying stuff. But his sign goes just a little bit further. It's just, so it makes them look unhinged. You know what I mean? It's like this mystery man in a mask making these guys look a million times worse. And we were talking about it last night. If you saw it, I tweeted out last night. I said, what time is Nick Fuentes' court date? And I believe our friend Cast Iron found it. And we were discussing this last night, and I said to Dirk, you should make a sign. I couldn't get this thing about him having people threatening to come rape him out of my head. So I just watched it. Again, a million times. So I said, imagine you're there with the protesters, and you're holding a sign that says, I'm going to rape Nick Fuentes. You're not allowed to even say this word on YouTube, are you? Are you allowed to say the R word on YouTube, or is it just an advertise? Because if it's an advertising thing, I don't give a shit. I'll just say it like an adult. But I don't want to get kicked off here. Listen, let me be clear. I'm in no way advocating murder or sexual assault. Okay? We all understand?
I thought you weren't even allowed to say kill on YouTube. That's why when Cole was asking about it, I said someone tried to blam Nick Fuentes or something. It sounds gay, I know.
I literally don't know what the words are anymore, and this is the PSYOP, by the way. This is what they've done. Nobody knows, so everybody talks like a baby, like an idiot baby who just fell out of a well upside down somehow and landed inside a forest and is now trying to, propagate amongst the normal civilization where they're like, what do they say? I got unalived. It's like, they're just going to make unalive a bad word next, right? Welcome to the euphemism treadmill. You know what? We can't allow them to take over language, especially not in this dumb a way. I'm just going to say rape. I'm just going to say these words. Okay, so I told him to make a sign that says that, because it would be very funny if the protesters were like, we're going to rape Nick Fuentes. Right? And, because
I can send you some images, Jesse, if you want to look at them in your messages.
All right, because
there's the protesters, and then there's me making the sign.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to show the one me making the sign.
I will show everything. So it turns out I was kind of right. There were protesters outside the courtroom. Here they are. Let's take a look at what their signs actually say. This will be fun. We've got no Nazis in Berwyn. I guess that's the county he lives in or something. Nick Fuentes is not welcome here. All right. Sounds a lot like go back to Africa, but whatever. Marla is a hero. That's crazy. That's the Jewish grandma, I think.
That's why he's wearing a mask.
I can't read the pink one. No Nazis in Berwyn. No Nazis in Berwyn. And a picture of Nick Fuentes with the international no through his head. I wish I could read the pink one, because I feel whatever absolute troglodyte wrote in red marker.
We stand with Marla.
Oh, you can see that?
I think that's what it's.
Shit.
Yeah, you can kind of see it.
Shit,
Yeah, the two
very
people
hard.
for Marla are wearing masks.
Of course, yeah. So this is it. This is all that was happening. There's no press, by the way. Milo didn't show up. Milo has completely disappeared from Twitter. He hasn't tweeted in 5 days. The man is dead. Okay? There's no world where Milo's not tweeting for 5 days. Something bad has happened. Maybe they needed to get him off the internet while this is going on, while they conduct their false flag against Nick Fuentes, because that's what people are thinking is happening now.
I think Alex sent a bounty hunter after Milo?
It's very possible.
We need a wellness check.
I have now had multiple people leave comments on my video on YouTube and on Twitter. Several people are claiming now that we inspired the gunman to show up. That's not how the flow of time works, okay? We were there after Gunman, before knowledge of Gunman. I have to make this clear. So not only did we inspire him, apparently, we're in his manifesto.
In death.
Where, by the way, we also inspired Luigi and all of the Mario Bros. Do we know the gunman's name? Has anybody have they come out with any of this info yet?
I think it came out. I forget what it is though.
So if they've got an article or something, somebody wants to pull up an article, maybe you can read it, and we'll take a look at that. I do want to know more about the actual situation, but
I think it's on Nick's Wikipedia.
Well, Nick's Wikipedia? There's got to be an article or something. That'd be better.
No, there is, yeah.
Okay, so here's a sign.
That's the best sign I've ever seen.
Now, I don't know. This is an airsoft gun in the background. Okay, you know what? I shouldn't have shown that. All right, so signs were being made all across the political spectrum. Now, imagine next to those lefty weirdo protesters, there's a man in a red ski mask holding up the world's stupidest sign. And so I said to Dirk, put on there, Nick's body, my choice. It's just funny. I just thought it was silly and funny. Now, and I told him, go to the courthouse. Now, what Dirk decided to do instead was go to Nick's house.
We went to the courthouse first. No one was there. We didn't see the protesters. I think we got there late. I don't even think he showed up because the gunman from last night, to be honest.
Yeah, so I don't think he even went to court. You guys show. All right, tell me the story. So you guys show up, and the sheriffs are coming up at the same time. It's like the world's weirdest coincidence that you happen to show up there. Because again, people are saying that we had prior knowledge of the gunman. It is now official. Put it in the books, guys. It's the lore. The lore of the internet is that Podawful is involved in a false flag with known Fed Nicholas Fuentes. We had prior knowledge of the gunman, and we knew to be on site when the sheriff show up to get it on camera to try to legitimize this false flag operation. That is, I have had multiple people now accuse me of that, which is incredible. That's so good. That's honestly,
I got
amazing.
Very excited to see
To be
all
honest,
of this.
we own the Minority Report. That's how we did this.
Well, Lisa is our minority reporter because she was filming. So you guys show up. The sheriffs are on scene. What happens?
Yeah, you can hear us talking about it. We're like, what the fuck? Who's that? And what are these people here? And we're like, oh shit, that's the sheriff. And then I see the cops knocking on the door. Nick Fuentes opens the door. I'm like, Lisa, go film him real quick. Because I was in the henchman uniform. I was about to go out there, and then the cops showed up. I was like, oh fuck no, I'm taking this shit off.
Okay. So yeah, but you actually at what point did you go out there with the sign? Were they inside? Were they inside the house?
Yeah, they were inside, and we kept seeing this. Yes, they went inside the house, and we saw this.
You just said, "Fuck it, fuck the optics, I'm going in." Which, by the way, worst time to say "fuck the optics" ever, ever.
Well, okay, here is what happened. So we saw the cop. He's like walking around back and forth in the background in the backyard. It was like, oh shit, maybe. What's going on? Why is he going in the backyard? And then we see this black vehicle in the back just driving away. It was like, oh shit, are they escorting him to the court? Because the protesters or whatever. So we're like, let's drive to the courthouse.
When you sent me the footage, I thought the cops were there because he didn't show up to court. I thought they were literally.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
100%.
And then all of a sudden, this shit happens. I'm like, what the fuck did happen?
So here's the thing. I got your time, it would have been like Chicago time. I think it would have been 12:30.
Yeah, around noon. Noonish.
Around 12:30, I got this footage. About an hour later, while I'm editing, I get the footage. I'm like, tee-hee-hee. This is so funny. This is not what I wanted at all. I wanted protesters. I wanted the court. I normally would not have even used this because I did not want to show up outside his house because I didn't want us to seem like we were part of the crazy leftist mob. Right? That's not what I was optically. And Dirk will tell you that no point did I tell him to go to Nick's house. Okay.
No. Well, it was brought up and you said, no, don't. And then I saw nobody at the courthouse. I was like, fuck, we just drove 3 hours to Chicago.
Dirk called an audible.
We got to do something.
Dirk called an audible, and I saw the footage. I go, this is funny. Like, this is funny. And more importantly, in this scenario, Nick's house, the outside of it, which, by the way, you'll notice, I don't show the address. I don't think it's actually in there, but it's out there already. You can't, I've said this a million times, you can't dox a guy twice. Once it's out there, it's out there. And I have personally, just casually, without ever looking it up on Twitter, I've seen the front of this man's house 250 times. So it's not a secret at this point, like it or not. Now, I'm not for that. And I've shown up I get it. I've shown up at people's houses and stuff before. But you'll notice the thing I always get criticized for is I never go to their door. I never do anything. It's always perfectly legal and on the up and up. And it's always in service of something extremely silly. Now, I thought the other side of this sign was probably a little much outside of his house, but it's just so over the top. And the fact that it happened in front of police made it so crazy. I was laughing so hard that I couldn't believe it. And I said, fuck it, I'm going to start cutting this together. And I'll tell you about some parts I actually cut out of it as well. But I start cutting it together. I'm busy doing that. It takes me, about 30 minutes or so to get it all together, put the thumbnail, get it uploaded, all that kind of stuff. And in the meantime, while I'm not paying attention to Twitter, again, this is an hour after I get sent the footage, Nick has gone to Twitter and for the first time has publicly revealed that the gunman has showed up to his house last night. The gunman murdered 3 people, two dogs, tried to get into Nick's house, going, "Hey, Nick, let me in," and then shot at the police and was murdered himself. Okay? Which, by the way, how happy, if it's the same cop that had to show up there from the body cam footage, how happy is that guy? He must be rolling in pig shit right now. He must be loving it. He's like, this is exactly what we always wanted. So I had no clue. And if I had known that this had happened, I never would have posted this video. I'd have been like, okay, that's just going in the vault. We're just going to scuttle that one forever. Maybe in 2 years, that'll be really funny. But right now, you can't, even as much as everybody has shared and shown this guy's house, you can't do it because a guy tried to murder him. Then I see everybody saying, number one, the initial reaction to the video was everybody loved it. Before the Groypers found it, people were digging it. I just got a bunch of lefties following me. They're going to be extremely they're going to be extremely disappointed in all further updates from my fucking Twitter. They're not going to like, once they realize it also got retweeted by @the_N-word, they're going to be unfollowing. But this thing was doing pretty well, and I'm starting to panic because I start getting these replies when they're going, find out how the crossbow gunman got in. This is the guy that inspired the crossbow guy. These guys, and I'm like, what are you guys talking about? And then I look at Nick's Twitter and I'm like, fuck. Then you got guys like Josh Moon, Kiwi Farms, both his account and the Kiwi Farms account tweet out saying that Nick is just lying. And he's just like a guy happened, like a couple doors down, happened to break into somebody's house and get shot. And now Nick is claiming they tried to break into his house. Well, then Nick tweets out video of the gunman on his front porch. Can somebody find me that one real quick? Is that one anywhere that I can quickly access it? Here's a...
I sent you the article, Jesse.
Okay, here's an image of it. I've got that ready to go here. Take a look at this. This is a screenshot of a tweet. The crossbow is a big Reddit troon tell, says this guy. And
investigated.
So he showed up with a helmet, a pistol, and a crossbow. This is Nick's front doorstep, and you can tell because there's the giant pile of unopened packages still sitting there, which are there in my video as well. Yeah, look at this. You can see it right there in that, but see all those packages sitting, like he's got all this stuff just sitting there. The guy is actually afraid to open the door. This isn't a defense against, the law kind of bit anymore. This isn't, oh, I need an excuse for pepper spraying an old lady. The dude's not answering his mail. He's ordering shit, or people are ordering it to his house maybe, and he's just leaving it just in case because it might be, a carton full of Madagascar hissing cockroaches or something in there that he's going to open up and they're just going to spray all over inside of his house. So 2 days ago, this looked really silly. But unfortunately today, Nick's body, my choice, doesn't feel so silly. Then I've got people replying to the tweet going, Nick's yard, my choice. And I'm like, that's so funny. Just not today. It's just not, it doesn't work today. And seriously had conversations all throughout the day going, should I take this down? And not to hide anything. I mean, I'm sitting here doing a whole episode showing it again. And, people are like, oh, there's some people are like, oh, you'll do, some people do anything for attention. Some people do anything for clout. It's like, this wasn't even really my idea at this. Like, this has flown so past what my thought process on this was at this point. But it is funny. And I'm just of two minds about it. But, I actually feel bad for Nick, and it does set a very bad precedent because here's the thing. There are people out there, and I've already seen people say this. I know they're going to do it. There's probably people in my chat right now saying this. There are people out there who will make excuses for, I'm not going to make any excuse for any of this, okay? But I know some people are going to say like, well, Nick has actually doxed and swatted, and his supporters have doxed and swatted so many people, which is 100% true. And my reply always to the doxing and swatting thing is that nothing ever happens. Like this swatting thing, one guy ever got swatted and got shot. Okay. It happened once exactly. And it wasn't an internet swatting scenario. It wasn't like a live streamer thing. I don't think. I think it was like way before that even. And so that's been the lore online forever. It's like, you could get a guy killed that way. And it's like, no, they show up and it's annoying and they come look in your house and you're embarrassed. And then you go, no, I do not have a basement full of hostages. And as a matter of fact, I don't even have a basement. And then the cops go, I'm so sorry. And then they put you on a list and it never happens again. That's what happens 99.99999% of the time.
Probably the opposite is going to happen this day and age pretty soon, where somebody like the SWAT team's going to come to somebody's house and they're just going to get to the door and the guy's going to tell them like, look, I'm a streamer. I do a show online. This is a thing, and they're going to leave. And it turns out that guy has hostages in his basement.
Yeah.
And, like, he's making a bomb.
Yep. It's actually a really great excuse for an actual kidnapper. Listen, I'm a streamer. There's nothing behind that giant concrete slab next to the refrigerator. Don't even try to push it out of the way. People are always doing this. Can you guys put me on a list where you guys never show up again, please?
Yeah, exactly.
The guy that caused that death.
The SWAT team's been called to this guy's house 10 times. We're not going to go an 11th time. And it turns out, maybe you should have.
What are you going to say,
that
Lisa?
dude, his name was Swatistic, the guy that caused that death.
Right. Okay. Well,
Swatistic.
maybe he had it coming then. All right. Anyway, so the point is, basically, this is never really a thing. It never really happens to anybody. Like, I mean, obviously, people get quote unquote swatted, but nobody ever gets hurt. It's like a scary thing. Sure. I'm not saying it's good or excusable. Don't do it. This is something I have never, ever, 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 and would never, ever, 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 ever do to anybody. Okay? And I have to say, I do feel like this isn't even the first. I mean, all right. Well, hang on. We didn't actually inspire anything that happened here, just to be clear. But, I went to Ethan Ralph's house one time, and then, like, days or a week later, a bunch of retards showed up to his house and like went into his yard and put corn all over it. People thought that was me. They put corn and kiwis all over his front porch. It's like, you think I put Kiwi Farms references on his front porch or even went up there? And then he did get swatted. Remember he got that ring cam footage of him with the cops showing.
He got swatted twice that day.
Yeah, it was all like a week after I showed up there. But I'm not the one who doxed him. Again, I didn't get his fucking address from nowhere. I didn't like invent it out of thin air. These guys already had it was already out there. And again, I would never ever, if somebody's shit isn't already out there, and if somebody, I'm not gonna go up to them, I'm not gonna fucking mess with them, any of that shit, unless they've threatened me, and then it's I'm not a crazy person. People think I'm like insane, but it's like if you fuck with me, then all bets are off. I mean, come on. Like Santa Cruz Joker has literally invited, and by the way, Ethan Ralph invited me to his house. Let me be clear. Ethan Ralph Ethan Ralph on air told me to come do that. When I do it, I have an invitation. I don't do anything that's beyond the pale. I don't do anything illegal ever. Okay? I had an invitation from Ethan Ralph. I had an invitation from Santa Cruz Joker. We did not have an invitation from Nick Fuentes. However,
Nick's body, my choice.
Nick's yard, my choice. Nick's neighborhood, my camera. So here is the difference. Nick Fuentes, and this is a huge difference from a guy like Santa Cruz Joker. He says it right there in that body cam footage. He is a high-profile person. This is a man they write news articles about. He is newsworthy.
Yeah, he is.
If he wants to be inciting people, if he wants to rile people up, if he wants to be a provocateur on the level that he is, then it does invite a certain amount of public scrutiny, let's say. And I don't think journalists should be showing up daily to his home or anything like that. Certainly not going up to his door. But the reason in my video, this moment right here, the reason why the cops don't do anything when Nick says, "Can you tell this person to stop filming?" They turn around, and I dropped the audio here just because I thought it made for a better video. But in that moment, the camera person goes, "Journalism." Which is like, it was too, I didn't want that moment to be funny, so I took it out. But it actually was I thought it was funnier that Nick then invites the cops in when they do nothing about it. It's like very funny to me that he invites them, that he's actually more worried about the camera and his public perception than he is about dealing with the cops. You should never invite a cop into your house. They're never going to leave without rifling through all your shit at that point. Remember, his studio is right here. That's it. That when you see him on camera, this is where he's sitting, is right there, right? So it's very strange to invite them into his studio right there to do it. So I removed the journalism, but that's a very funny thing. Journalism, and they knew in that instant, the cops are like, our hands are fucking tied. We're on camera. They're on the sidewalk. There's nothing they can do. And I would not have uploaded, again, I would not have uploaded this at all if I known about the gunman at this point. I wouldn't have done it if anybody had crossed the threshold or anything like that. No chance this video sees the light of day because it is, it's just beyond the pale. The problem with this whole thing is, the easy thing to do is to say, Nick invited this on himself when he did this to other people. He's doxxed. His guys have swatted. He's probably swatted people personally. He probably has. And it's very easy for me to say, oh, I don't want to be doxxed and I don't want to be swatted. So that's the real reason any internet guy is like so effusively going, oh, it's bad, life ruination, all of this stuff. Who made up that term? Mr. Medicare. The dude's been, quote unquote, swatted how many times? Nothing's ever happened to him. Nothing bad has ever happened to the guy. The dude just is tired of people showing up with potatoes to his house, I get it. It's like annoying. And again, I have experienced this. I have, and not even just times you guys know about, like the story I told earlier. I have had people show up. I have had people in the past. I've never talked about this. You know what? I'll talk about it right now.
Let me tell you about.
Not that long ago. Okay. This is, pre-moon base, I guess. But not that long ago, I went outside one day, and I'm standing there at my car, and I see somebody driving real slow. Driving real slow. Strangely slow. And then they get to the end of the street there. It's not the end of the street. They could have kept going. They just do a little U-turn, and then they drive real slow back the other way. They had very tinted windows. Now, a guy like me who's dealt with being falsely arrested multiple times, being investigated by the Secret Service, my first thought in those moments are, okay, this is like a Fed watching me or a cop or something. What do they think I did now? It's my first thought. But then I'm looking at them, and I don't remember what it was. Something this was at some point during Podawful's history where something big enough to get people trying to look into me had happened, and I went, that's not a cop. That's just a guy. And I don't handle these things the way normal people handle them. Okay? I was just getting something out of my car, but I decided to get in the car at that point. Because I walked down and I looked down the street, and they're still sitting there. Now, they'd been there for a minute, just sitting at the stoplight. So they had either taken a video or taken a picture or something, and they're checking. They're looking at it. Or they're doing something. And I just know. I know. You know in these moments, right? It's just something you can sense. I know that this was a guy trying to check to see if he had some good info or something. Or check to see what Podawful's up to that day. And he just happened to fucking score me actually being right there. There I am, plain as day. And I said, nah, I'm not going to deal with this.
Come in, brother.
Okay. Hey, brother. See you, man. Brother, man.
Hey. Dude, I'm so sorry. No, I am worried because, I just get around at work and I get infuriated. I'm so sorry, dude.
I'm fully Yorking over here.
It's not my style.
All right, shut up. Anyway, so.
Yeah, wash my hands.
I'm walking here.
Okay. I literally thought he was talking to us. He was still just talking to some guy just then. Crazy.
I guarantee
Crazy
you
old
he's not
man.
watching this shit.
Jared's old. We have to forgive him. All right, now listen. So the guy is sitting there at the end of the block. I jump in my car. I started it up. I reversed out quicker than you could. I mean, I'm flying. And I happen to know, this dude doesn't. I can tell this guy is not somebody who lives here. He's visiting, and he's visiting for a reason. And I happen to know if I go this way instead of the way he went, I can cut him off at the pass. So I fly out. He sees me in his rear view flying out of my parking spot, and he takes off. And I go the other way, and I floor it. And I manage to get right there where he's pulling up, and I'm right here, and he sees me, and he's in full-on panic mode. And he pulls out in front of me, and now we're both stuck at a red light, and I'm right behind him, and there's nothing he can do. And I've got his license plate, and I've got him on camera. I'm filming it. Okay? Never talked about this. The light turns green. And I'm saying to myself, Jesse, you might be insane, man. What if you're wrong? This is probably what some of you were thinking right now. This is just some guy got lost in your area and, realized he's going the wrong way. Trust me, there's no world where a guy accidentally ends up where I'm at. Okay? I know. But in this moment, I'm going, I'm insane. I'm following some dude. I'm tailgating this guy. I'm bumper to bumper with him at this red light. All right, Jesse, if the light turns green and he peels out, you're right. But if he just casually drives on, then you fucked up majorly here. And you've got his license plate, so whatever. Just let it go. And by the way, in all this time, I have an appointment to go. So I'm supposed to be on my way to go do something. Okay. And I'm having to lie and say, yes, I'm on my way. Well, the light turns green and this dude floored it. Tires screeching. And I go, oh, guess I was right. And I am tailing this dude. And I tailed him for 10 miles. We're just going. I can tell this guy doesn't know where he's going. He's just going. He's just trying to lose me. And we're going through red light after red light. Okay. Every single light. You know, when you get in the cycle of lights where you're like, you're getting the yellows and you know that next, 3 down from here, you're not going to make the yellow. You're going to get the red. And this dude's just far enough ahead. Sure enough, 3 lights down, he can still make the yellow. I can't. And I'm like, do I chance it? And I said, fuck it. Yes, I do. Which he clearly was not prepared for because he slowed down thinking he was in the clear. And I sped up. And I ran that fucking red like it was nothing. And he panicked and started swerving through the different lanes in front of one car. And now I'm tailing him through all the cars. And this is just a 2-lane road, by the way. It's not, you can't do but so much here. And the speed limit's like 35 and we're going 70 between cars and trucks and everything. And again, barely paying attention to the stoplights at this point. We get down a little further. He's managed to get 3 cars up from me and we're both stuck at a red light. There's no way around it. 3 cars up and I'm fucking eyeballing him. Now, here's my problem. I don't know anything about cars. Nothing. They just do nothing for me. A normal guy can look at any car and go, it's this make and model. Not me. Even looking at their badges sometimes, I don't even know. Like, is an H a Hyundai or a Honda? I'm not sure. So, I don't know anything about cars, and I'm trying to memorize. And again, I've got it on camera, but I'm trying to memorize which one of these cars is his, because it's just a normal little 4-door sedan with that, dark gray paint job. There's like 100 of these on the road. And sure enough, the dude is sitting in front of 2 cars that look like this. So I'm like trying my best to focus on both driving safely enough and also which one of these cars is him. Light turns green. We're coming up on a highway off-ramp too. So I don't know if he's going to go off on that. I'm in the left lane. He's in the right. He could get over there and I couldn't. We get up a little ways and sure enough, in the blur of vehicles, I don't remember which one is him and he loses me. And I'm pissed and I'm freaking and I'm calling up who's waiting on me and I'm going, yeah, no, trust me. It's just traffic. It's like, makes no sense. Where I had to go, there would be no traffic. Oh, I'm almost there. Yeah. What? I'm 20 minutes late? Nah. No, I'm not. So I drive up and I'm trying to find him. I'm trying to see, is he this one? Is he this one? I'm pulling up next to the cars and looking in their windows and shit. And again, this guy had some really dark tint. I don't think I would have been able to see him anyway. But I fucking lost him entirely. But I'll tell you this. Never saw anything from it. Never heard anything. Never saw it. And I know some people will say, well, Jesse, that means you were just wrong. This guy was just like some poor lost soul who thought a crazy person was tailing him.
No, you scared the shit out of him.
I scared the shit out of this guy. And this guy absolutely was there for some sort of nefarious purpose. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Probably journalism.
Yeah, he was doing journalism. I asked the cops, I said, can you watch me 24/7 now, please? They ignored me. So I was like, this guy's trying to rape me.
Stoplight. I think when you pull up to a stoplight tailing a guy and there's two other cars that look like him, they call that a 3-car Monte Carlo.
Was that worth it? Let me ask you. Does it feel worth it after you finally said it? Okay,
No,
cool.
no, that was horrible.
All right, there we go. That's all we had to hear. Hey, listen. He knows. What year is your Jag, Tom? So, is Tom Gully? Hey, Tom Gully's in chat. You can join us on Discord, Tom. Okay, so let's see if Jared figured out that he's... Jared? Did you figure it out? Ooh, nope. Okay, that means...
Buster!
That means he's still unsafe. We're going to mute him again. All right, somebody remind me to unmute Jared when the show's over. So... that story was to say this. This has been a thing, whether you know it or not, that I have had to deal with multiple times in my life. In fact, it so early in my, by the way, I don't know if you guys know this, Podawful, like a week ago, hit 15 years.
Mm-hmm. Happy birthday.
15-year anniversary. I always say it's December like 11th is where I count. I don't even know what the official day is, but let's just say December 11th. 15 years. You wouldn't believe me if I told you how early in the podcasting career this was a problem for me. Back when I was just having comedians on my show and shooting the shit and talking nonsense, I had crazy people showing up. I have invited some of those crazy people in to my home and done shows with them. If you go back a ways, there's a few episodes with this guy called Matt Harrington. This was just an insane guy who somehow figured out where I lived and said, I don't live that far from you. Can I be on your show? And like a retard, I said yes and let him into my bedroom. Okay? I mean, this is psycho. And I did 3 shows with this guy. I kept saying he's like a haunted serial killer vampire, man. He barely spoke. He's like, oh, yes, yeah. And after 3 episodes, I'm like, okay, man, well, see ya. That's enough, I think. I think we've had enough. You don't really add anything to the show whatsoever, and you literally frighten me. And also, I don't know which episode it was, but in one of them, he told me that he scares women. I don't know what that means, but that's
like on purpose.
Yes,
he's hiding behind corners.
I don't know. I have dealt with this sort of thing for so long, so I don't want anybody to think like, "Oh, Jesse, how would you like it if it happened to you?" I wouldn't. That's the point. That's part of what makes it so fun. Obviously, you wouldn't like it. Obviously, I mean, listen. Sending coleslaw to a guy's house once or twice, you might go, that's kind of funny. I do like it. I like if you're Aaron Imholt, you're like, I like coleslaw. Yummy. But after the 15th time, even Aaron Imholt would be like, okay, Jesse, that's enough. That's part of the fun is that of course you don't like it. Of course these things shouldn't happen to anybody. But
that's why it's funny.
I have never, ever, ever advocated swatting. And obviously, I feel sick to my stomach that a guy actually showed up to try to murder Nick. I don't give a shit what you think about Nick Fuentes, who, by the way, as far as I know, everybody says he works with a pedophile. What's that guy's name? Ali Akbar.
Ali Akbar, yep.
Who I think so. It's a trap. Isn't that the guy from Star Wars? I mean, first of all, the Mon Calamari.
I think his name is Andy Halal.
The Mon Calamari space frigate as a battleship? Are you kidding me? So I don't know that much about this Nick Fuentes character, to be honest. To me, he's just one of the internet's funny characters. So as we enter phase 4, it's important to note, as we blend the lines, blur the lines between reality and the internet, which is, whether you realize it or not, is really what the show has been for a very, very long time, if not always. As we blur those lines even further, I'd want to make clear where the blur ends, okay? And it ends at gunman. Finger gun, fine. Actual gun, no good, okay? So my apologies. My apologies. It was a matter of timing. I got sent this video before Nick even announced any of this stuff was true, before he ever uploaded any of the videos proving that this actually happened to him. And had I known, I would have never done it. Now, there are people out there who will say, that's not good enough. You just shouldn't ever do this thing. And with those people, I politely disagree. I sit here and I nod as if I'm listening. And I go, every once in a while. And then when they're done talking my ear off about life ruination, I go, okay, but it's just coleslaw and I don't care. So in this one instance, we messed up real bad, just optically, just timing wise. It's made a lot of people really upset and really confused. Now, I will say this, and again, this is no excuse because this would be bolting it on after the fact. My entire thought process was funny guy standing with weird protesters at a courthouse. This became a whole other bag of beans. But I could easily sit here and go, well, you know, I don't really give a fuck because Nick Fuentes and his followers are constantly reporting people off of the internet. They mass report and flag anyone who gets in their way, and they deserve bad things happening to them. I could say that, and I do think it. But it doesn't mean a gunman should show up to his house. And so usually I do not take a principled stance on anything anymore because it always comes back to bite you if you do. I have guys, I have Groypers, I have twinks and cat boys in my replies right now saying they're all mass reporting my tweet, even though it breaks no laws. It looks really bad, but does nothing actually harmful whatsoever. Okay? And I could sit there and point to those guys and go, see, this is why people came and messed with you. And if you didn't do these things online, that's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. Because the guy with the gun could sit there and say the same thing in his kooky brain. You know? Oh boy, I'm actually checking my replies right now to see if there's any interesting. Oh my god, there's entire little conversations and back and forths with anti-Nick and pro-Nick guy. This is the shit I hate. This is why I never talk about this guy normally. Is I don't want to have to form an opinion on him, and I still haven't. I just thought it was funny to say Nick's body, my choice. Okay? So, mea culpa. Mea culpa, your choice. Sorry. Is that good enough? Can I just be sorry? I didn't really do any. I technically did nothing. The guy who did it didn't break any laws. We had no idea about the gunman. I have to be clear, but if I'm being real, it is all a false flag. We had prior knowledge, and Nick is lying. The gunman is fake. Is this all fine now? We good?
Definitely.
Yeah, JK Ultra.
We good.
Oh, Jesse, I don't know if anyone reminded you. You told us to remind you the feds.
Well, that's the thing where people think that this was a false flag, and we are working with the feds, and we are. We are working with the feds, okay? You just got Project JK Ultra'd, and there's a lot more of this coming. Just hopefully, optically, it will be slightly better. I will say this, though. I mean, the video is so funny. That's a bumper. Like you holding up that sign outside his house. That's a bumper right there.
It's really good.
I can just roll that as some beautiful bean footage behind me all the time. It's so good. Here's a guy. He
This has all been a trick. You have been trolled.
Here's a guy who quote tweeted me and said, if this guy comes near Nick's house again and threatens him, can someone take care of him in self-defense since he's making threats, not violent self-defense? He must be talking about self-defense rape, obviously. So
the only kind. It's a self-defense rape is a non-violent crime. It's not about violence. It's about sex.
This is crazy.
About power.
More than one guy has quote tweeted me and said this exact line. And he's talking about you, Dirk. He says, have fun in prison, you fat piece of shit. Now, are they like organizing in Telegram to say the exact, are these like Indian bots? How are they saying the exact
It feels like
same
bots,
thing?
right?
And the craziest part is he's got Nick's fat mugshot as his profile pic. I'm starting to feel less and less bad about this, to be honest. The more I started this off 100% serious about, reeling this one in. And now I'm looking through some of these replies. I'm going, actually, it was us who was right. Because of you, all the cool dudes who call themselves Groypers are going to get deported. Save Nick now. This isn't fair. Sorry, I just...
fuck you and eat shit, rat.
Okay.
That's one of them.
Yeah, that's what one guy said.
Amen, brother.
Listen, I'm a journalist, okay? We were there on scene to report on the news story of what was happening, the court date, and it just so happens some new news was going on. Listen, Podawful was first on the scene when P-Gate happened, and the gunman, we were the first people there after the gunman showed up at Comet. We were the first people on the scene when Chris Chan got arrested. That's true. I was there before. I have footage from before Ethan Ralph showed up. 100% true. And we were on the scene when Nick Fuentes had to report that he was almost raped and murdered.
You were also the first to report that Alex Stein's grandmother was a school shooter.
True. 100. Well, I mean, also the newspaper in his hometown back in 1986 when it happened. I think
we're talking about the internet.
Yeah, the first to the internet for sure. Man. You know what's crazy? This doesn't even have that much engagement on it, but it's like so many replies and shit. How many people have even seen this thing at this point?
You have like 17K, dude.
Oh, okay. Okay. I don't think the YouTube video has a very significant number.
No, it has like 300.
It's like nothing.
Tweets.
YouTube putting out tiny videos on my YouTube channel, they get nothing. That's why I always tweet them now as well, because nobody sees anything on my fucking YouTube unless it's a full stream. You're going to prison. I say, why? No one responds. You are going to jail. I said, why? They said, for trolling. No fun allowed. Some guy says, anything for some attention, I guess. This guy also quote tweeted my tweet so that people would see it. So I guess anything for attention. A lot of guys said coward. And then I replied, what? And then they didn't say anything after that. And what is cowardly, by the way, about showing up?
Urquit is the best person.
These are the same types of guys that would be like, you're a coward for not showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Podawful was on scene. What do you want me to do? Go up to the cop and grab his gun? It's never, for some people, these are the guys who don't want anyone showing up, but it's never enough. If you don't ring a guy's doorbell or, spit on a cop's badge while he watches you, it's never enough for these people. They want blood. Everybody online wants blood from their internet characters, and I just want to put a guy in a red mask nearby them. That's it. It's just funny to me when we're there for these events. This is one event that I could have done without, though. Here's the gunman showing up to Nick's house. Might as well look at it. Here's the proof. So, again, Kiwi Farms, Josh Moon had to post a retraction for saying that this was fake after Nick posted this video. Check it out. Here he is in his motorcycle helmet. He cocks his crossbow and sets it down. He's got a pistol of some kind in his hand there, although it kind of looks fake. I don't know what that weapon is. Might not be real. And then he's got a backpack on. He's looking up in the window. Again, Nick is streaming right here. So he knows that, I guess. He's ringing. There's 3 doorbells. He's ringing all 3 of them. Now, does this include the part where he actually says Nick's name? Because I even thought, this guy was just looking for any random door until you hear him talk. He tries the handle. This is very Reddit tier. Imagine you die. You went to all this trouble. This dude murdered 3 people. And he's like, just break in. What are you waiting for? You shoot at cops. You murder dogs. You kill people. But at Nick's house, you're just super respectful of the lock. Of the little handle lock.
It's a fed up.
Well, I'm not going to murder somebody who's just rude.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that shooter, the incel guy, Elliot Roger, the guy who did the BMW videos and shit.
No, I don't
So
remember
supposedly he wanted to shoot up a sorority house, but the thing that stopped him was he rang the doorbell and they did not answer the door.
Yeah, it's always
But
that.
they were all home.
It's always that. Somebody in the chat says, why bring the crossbow if you have a pistol? Because Chewbacca's got one. That's why Star Wars.
I mean, have you ever seen a crossbow? They're pretty fucking cool.
All right, check this out. So he actually shouts Nick's name.
Yo, Nick!
Yo, Nick! And he does it that way too, where it's as if he's doing it that way where you do it where you're trying to make it sound like some other guy did it. Yo, Nick! Yo, Nick! It's like you're the only guy there. It's you. yo, Nick! Hey, yo, Nick! So
adrenaline hit his lips.
That proves that he knew Nick was there. He's there for Nick. I don't know who the other 3 people he killed were or why. But supposedly he killed 3 other people. And
no, those are the cops.
Huh? He didn't kill cops. He shot at cops.
No, the cop. No, the cops. They're blaming it on him, like the dog.
No, the dogs. But I'm saying he killed 3 people.
Yeah. He killed like
What
2
up,
women
dog?
and 3 women, maybe. I don't know. I can't remember. I sent you the article, Jesse.
Okay, well, let me see.
There is a video too, so we could just not read if you want.
Ooh, terrific.
Yay, no
Wait, it's a
reading.
gun mystery?
I hate reading. You know what's crazy? I hate reading, but I spend all day online where you have to just read everything.
Now to breaking news. You're looking at a man with a gun who moments
A gun man.
Oh.
It's a gun mystery.
Shocking.
Gunman with a gun.
It's a gun mystery.
Gunman with a gun.
later gets into a shootout with
Unprecedented.
police. The same man is suspected of killing 3 people downstate. Let's get right to our Sabrina Franza in Berwyn to piece together this wild chain of events.
Oh, thank God she's on scene. How else would we find out these things that you got told through like a fucking email?
Sabrina.
I always love it when people are on scene for a violent crime. Like, there's violence happening, but I'm just like here reporting.
Yeah. Real brave of you now that he's dead, Sabrina. How about you show up when we did?
Fuck, that would have ruled.
Journalism.
Berwyn, police say the same man is responsible.
Somehow we knew about this before the news. This is insane.
For the death of 3 people and 2 dogs.
The news.
Listen to that. Hang on a second. Hang on. Shut up. Listen to this.
Responsible for the death of 3 people and 2 dogs. Now,
oh my God. Heckin' woofers. This is how you know this guy is not a Reddit dude, because he murdered the heckin' chonkers next door. Like the fucking goody boys, boot nose snoots. The snooty boops.
2 chonkers and a woofer have been confirmed.
Puppers. OMG.
Yeah,
This B&E where an actual human was almost killed.
there's like Reddit guys watching this who are like, oh, 3 dead. What? The heckin' chonkers? No! 2 of them? But how are their snoots? Can they still be booped? Please don't. Please
Jesse,
don't.
This is news. They're just trying to report. There's
Please,
no
please,
narrative.
please, don't shoot them in the snoot. Please, anything but the snoot. So their family can bury them in an open casket. Leave their snoots alone. Do not boop them with a bullet.
We must boot the snoots one last
Do you think one dog attacked him, and then when he killed that one, he liked the way it felt? Killed the other.
Yeah.
Police say that
I actually would kill to know what type of dogs they were, because like if it like imagine it's just a little fluffy, nothing dog. Ah, bang, 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 bang.
Just
if it
for no reason.
if the dogs are
Well,
not
plus some
if
of
the
those,
dogs
like-
aren't pit bulls or Rottweilers, the cops killed the dogs. That's it.
about the what's
German
it called?
Shepherd, maybe.
Right, but
The
just
tape.
trying to think like a cop here. Like if I'm thinking like a cop, some of those dogs are like really fluffy, and they like lap dogs, right? They're like they look really like fluffy and big, but their bodies are tiny and small. Like you'd have to have pretty good target practice to actually hit one of those fuckers.
My guess, all right, here's my feeling on this, because you brought up Elliot Rodger earlier.
I did.
My guess is you didn't bring up Elliot Rodger. It was somebody else who said it. My guess is I did. What the fuck? You're stealing Elliot Rodger valor?
Yes.
My guess.
the school shooter.
A lot of these
Roger.
a lot of these shooters like Adam Lanza and shit. They kill their families before they go do these things because they're like, it's like their big, this is going to be their big ending. And so they feel like their family shouldn't be around. I don't know what the thought process is for this, but they do a little family annihilating, some standard annihilation, and they get rid of them. I'm guessing the 3 people were this dude's own family. It's just a guess, but all right, let's watch. Everybody shut up.
was where the spree began. 3 people died there. They were 23, 26, and 61 years old. We are told from a former colleague of the eldest, Janice Mason, that they are all related.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh.
Siblings and mother, no father.
It was a family annihilation.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine where that father went.
And by the way, we're going to be seeing this exact same news story one day about Aaron M. Holt.
Made of hers over Facebook Messenger. He told us she was an amazing person who was loved and respected.
Man, I can't wait till I die and I become amazing and respected. There's something about dying that just makes you really good afterward. I don't know what it is.
A few hours later, around 11:30 last night, Berwyn police arrived to home.
Oh, good. They're going to dox Nick Fuentes live on the news now. Perfect.
Again.
Here we go.
Avenue called because they saw somebody.
Counterculture figurehead Jesse P.S. died today, leaving behind a trail of white supremacist tweets.
I'm Mexican. I'm Mexican, and I've always been Mexican.
Who called in that they had seen a
they threatened to rape me.
Suspect with a gun. They say when they ran into 20.
Wait. Which one of these is Nick's place?
None of those.
It's a few blocks away
not this.
from.
It's not this one right here.
It's might not. They all look the fucking same.
They ran into.
Look at this fucking hellhole. What the fuck is this place?
I know this neighborhood is ugly, and Dirk and I did see some tape.
The police, yeah, we saw the caution tape.
What kind of neighborhood? Like, who lives here in this area?
Whites, blacks, and gays. Minnie Manson lives like in the same location ish.
So it's a Neapolitan flavor overload. They got everything in there.
We saw some Mexicans.
I like to take the spoon and go like this, swirl
Wait,
it
would
all
you
up.
say that's a neighborhood?
Yeah.
So Nick lives in the neighborhood?
Of course. Come on, it's Chicago.
I'm just saying.
I think Minnie Manson lives in the neighborhood, but
24-year-old John Lyons of Westchester, Illinois. He ran from them and forced his way into a home around the corner on Winona Avenue. Inside that home, we're told he shot and killed.
This dude just had. So this guy goes to the trouble to kill his siblings and his mom, and then gets to
I'm pretty sure there's
he gets to Nick's house and he just gives up on the plan. Like, you just went in with no clue what you were going for on this. How do you kill mom and bro and sis? And then you get to Nick's place and you're like, well, he did put the deadbolt on, so I guess I'll go now. Bye.
Before fleeing once
It looks
again.
like he had looks like he used the 22 pistol, so I don't know. If he had shot the door, it might not have done anything.
Yeah, but he doesn't know that.
There's a biker gang though that like hangs out on that street. They call them the Winona Riders.
Okay, you know that's not going to be worth it. Now, here's the thing. The guy who brings a crossbow to murder a man, he doesn't know that his caliber of gun isn't going to shoot out the door.
Oh, good point.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, he would shoot right at... That guy would shoot directly at the handle right in front of him and think it'll just explode off of there and he'll be able to enter no problem. Although, there's a window, right? Like, something, something. Again, I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody. I'm saying if you went to the trouble of annihilation, you might as well go oh my God. Dirk, what if you showed up and Nick Fuentes was dead? What if you showed up there looking like that in your henchman uniform? And what if the guy broke in and killed Nick Fuentes, right?
Yeah.
And no one even knew it had happened yet. And then you pull up on scene wearing a ski mask and you're going up there and you're holding up a sign saying rape is funny or whatever you said that you decided to write on there. And right then the cops pull up and they're like, I don't know, we got a report. Somebody said something. They heard a noise last night. And you're standing there holding your sign going, freedom of speech. Meanwhile, there's a poor, dead, gay Mexican inside there. This was a close one. That is scary. It is scary. We got to be more careful.
Ignoring police's calls to stop, and at that point, police say he shot at them, so officers returned fire and killed Lyons. Later, they connected him to that triple homicide in downstate Mahomet. Meanwhile,
how many lions did they kill?
Posted to the platform X, formerly known as Twitter, white nationalists and Holocaust
They still saying that?
White nationalist and Holocaust denier Nick Fuentes.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
When they interview him on the news, that's his chyron. That's like, Professor Emeritus, Holocaust denier, Nick Fuentes. The dude was almost murdered. Do you have to put it in there right now? There's nothing. Like, that's not his job title. I promise you. No matter what you think about the guy, his job isn't Holocaust denial. It's a perk, but it's not. It's not his. You can't just describe him.
Nick Fuentes posted a video where he claims he was the intended target in Berwyn. The timestamp on this Ring camera video is just before police say they were called there, and you can see someone standing there with a gun and what looks like a crossbow. Now, as I
looks like, what else could it fucking be, lady?
It appears to be a crossbow.
We have confirmed through somebody that knew the eldest victim
Where
that
the
those three
news?
people were related. They say that was the eldest victim's children.
Okay, cool audio, the news. Nice. All right.
That guy didn't even. So if Nick is behind that window there, that guy could have stood up on the. There's the railing on the other side, and he could have literally looked in and seen if Nick was in there.
I think the windows right. I think the windows right there are like stained glass or something. Like I don't think.
Okay.
Could and he's got them blocked. They're all blocked. His set is like blocking all those windows.
Gotcha. Okay.
Why do I know so much about the floor plan of his house? I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because weirdos have been sharing that shit on Twitter for a month without ever looking for it specifically. I saw his entire floor plan and was able to work out where his studio is through osmosis. Okay? So, we're not helping. By showing up, we're not helping by any means. But we're hardly to blame. In fact, let's be honest about this for a second. By the time a henchman was on scene, it was kind of over. At that point, I mean, The worst had already... Well, that I'd say that, but then something bad could still... this could inspire some other freak. Listen, I got to be careful about how I say this because we're on YouTube. But
all right, good luck.
All right. When news broke of a certain Italian fella who had his own little pew-pew video on the streets above the Ninja Turtles, let's say, I was excited to learn that we live in an age of Assassins, which is a video game that I'm into. Age of Assassins coming soon to PlayStation 5. But there was something kind of... I think a lot of people experience like, oh, it's happening. Finally. Listen, healthcare guy, whatever. I don't care who it is. It's interesting. It's fun. And there's a part of you, even if you're like, a man was murdered, a man with a family was murdered, and it doesn't matter who he is. You can't feel bad. You can't feel like you like that. There's all those
part
people.
of me does feel like that. It's my leg.
There are people, I think everybody to some degree, when they found out about that news story, there's a part of them that thought like, who would I have picked? Which CEO would I have picked? That's all I'm saying. And, it feels a little V for Vendetta-y. It feels a little like, oh, okay, cool. Some stuff's happening. Oh, I mean, listen, I'll just put it like this. Nobody should ever be killed or murdered or anything. However, wasn't it like the day before... So, one of the Blue Cross Blue Shield was like, oh, by the way, anesthesia can only last for an hour now, or else you're paying for it. And then a guy, his head exploded onto cement, and they went, never mind. I mean, you can't argue with the results. It's kind of interesting. And there's a part of me that I've got my own qualms out there. By the way, I'm so glad people are finally waking up to the fact that insurance is a scam. I've been saying this for fucking 20 years, that it's literally nothing but a scam. You're insane. I have no insurance. I have nothing. You know why? I'm not going to bet a company against my life. You understand what I'm saying?
You don't like the reverse lottery?
I'm not going to have a company say to me, "Hey, you know what? I bet you're going to die." I bet you're not going to die. And me go, "I bet I fucking am." No, sir. And people, I finally have seen people start going, "This insurance shit is bullshit. You don't get anything for it." I had a health insurance plan at the time where I needed it the most. In fact, that hospital visit I told you about earlier, I had no money. I just had nothing. I had just enough to pay rent back then. And fine, I'd been paying into this health insurance for 3 fucking years at that point. A giant chunk of my paycheck was going into that health insurance. And in my fucking time of need, I don't even remember which company it was at that point, but in my fucking time of need, I went to them and I said, okay, pay up. I got a lot of hospital bills now. And they said, fuck you. And they paid $200. And then I was fucked. I was completely fucked. I had paid them thousands of dollars, and they gave me $250 in return for all of that and said, sorry, but all of this hospital shit, yeah, that wasn't what we were talking about when we said healthcare. What are you, retarded? And so I said, okay, I'm done. And that was my, my benefits, it comes with my job benefits package. Ooh, wow, this is great. This is really, I told them, when I finally got back to work, and I was out of work for a long time because of this, when I finally got back to work, I said, "Nah, you can go ahead and cancel that for me. I don't want that shit anymore," because it did nothing. One of my favorite tricks was in the middle of me going through this ordeal where I am horribly ill. I can barely move. And I can barely pay my rent. And I've got no money. I can't work. I cannot work. My health insurance company through my work switched. They changed providers midway. And so,
that's fine.
And nobody told me. So I'm this is why I don't remember the name, because it was 2 names, and I don't remember which one was which anyway. So at one point I have, blue asshole, blue purple nurple, and then they go, nah, now we're, we're go fuck yourself, the health insurance company. That's our name. And I've been talking to fucking purple nurple for the past 3 weeks. Turns out I don't even have them anymore. And finally somebody's like, "No, you've got these guys now." And I go, "Oh, hey, go fuck yourself. Can you help me?" And they go, "Who?" And I said, "I was really expecting you to say, go fuck yourself. You don't even know who I am? That's like worse. How did you actually manage to pick a more insulting thing?" They didn't even know who I was. They're like, "We've never even dealt with you before." I said, "You've been my health insurance guys for 3 weeks, apparently. Certainly you should know that, even if I don't." They're like, "We don't know nothing. Sorry." "I'm sorry, sir. We don't know anything."
We're a health insurance company. We don't know anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Health insurance? Never heard of the guy. "Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah? Bang, 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 bang. You heard of me yet?" So, again, it's not a thing to be celebrated in any way, but there's an issue. And I love seeing all these people who are finally like, this insurance shit. It's like young people who are like, this insurance shit kind of seems fucking fake and gay. This seems like dumb boomer shit that they tricked us into. Wait a second.
You're telling me it's a scam?
Wait a second. This is starting to sound like usury. No, this is, wait a second. All the guys in Jesse's replies have just the perfect word for this, what it seems like. And so I love the idea of hope and change. That's all I'm going to say. Remember Obama? Obama promised
forced hope and change.
Obama promised hope and change. And what did he do? He created Obamacare. And yeah, there was a lot of change, not a lot of hope. And that change is what fucked up my fucking life during the time I'm talking about. That change was awesome and really worked out for everybody. The fucking Affordable Care Act, that shit rules. So, unless you're like rich, and I mean rich, I mean can afford 24/7 security outside your house, rich. Or you've just got some amazing plan you found or something, you are being ripped off. And I'm not talking about just health insurance either. All of them. All of them are a scam. Now, some of them you can't avoid. I'm not sitting here telling you don't do any of them. Some of them you have to do. But if you can find a way to not, even for a little bit, here's something. Now, I'm not saying I do this. I don't. But here's an idea. All right. Car insurance. Almost every single place in America, you have to have car insurance. Some states, I think, allow you to pay like a little fee or something basically instead, and then you don't have to have it. But pretty much everywhere I'm aware of has it, right? Okay, you get it, and you're good. And then you just cancel it for a little bit. And you just don't have it for a while. And then, maybe every once in a while. I've said this before, but I think car insurance makes people worse drivers. I don't think you're going to be sitting there looking at your phone, texting while driving if you don't have car insurance. You're going to be a lot more careful. As a guy who has driven a car with no insurance before, I feel like I'm paying more attention to the road than everybody else in that scenario. You're certainly more on the lookout for cops. You're not wanting to, do anything crazy in front of them. And this insurance thing is like, it's too much of a safety net. It's a problem that creates itself in a way. You feel like you're a little bit more invincible because you've got the insurance. Your car is covered. Oh, you totaled it? New car. Whoopsie, new car, I guess. Oh, somebody crashed into me? Good. I've been meaning to get rid of this thing. That's a real thought that some human beings have in their head. Probably not you, but there are freaks out there who are sitting there going, oh, God, I hope somebody T-bones me right now. That would be excellent for me. So,
oh yeah,
I feel like if you...
Yeah, it's the same thing with, like, the warranties and stuff, too. Whereas, like, people with new cars, it's just like, they'll just run stop signs and do... Like, they're the most reckless drivers because they know it's like, hey, it's covered. Whatever. Who cares?
And, of course,
it's a modern car. I'm not going to die.
And they choose, it's all you got to think about is, like, the way, like, how much more do you have to pay by being a certain type of guy? You're a dude, you got to pay more because dudes drive fast. Even though women are objectively worse drivers, guys drive faster, and so supposedly they crash more often. I don't believe that. I would put money on the fact that that is an outdated stat. My guess is in the fucking 1960s, they did they ran a poll or something. They did some statistics to figure out, the insurance companies, who crashes the car more often. And they figured out it was guys. But it was guys because guys drove more often back then. Women didn't drive as much back then. They didn't have jobs as often, and men, wouldn't allow their wife to drive them somewhere. And people had fewer cars as well. So all these stats, like a guy, drives faster and crashes more often, is based on a thing that they've just never updated, right? But you're a guy, you drive fast, and you've got a red car. So now insurance costs more. What fucking cartoon fucking world is that? Because you drive a red car, you have to pay more? That's a real fucking thing. They do that shit. The type of car you drive, that is retarded. And I understand, like, we all inherently understand the logic of it and go like, okay. But then the second you think about it harder than what a child, like what a baby would think about stuff, you start to go, wait, what the fuck? Are you fucking serious? What do you mean you're going to charge me more because you're afraid of the color of my car? What are you, like, who is doing the underwriting? A bull? Ah, red. So all of this shit is so retarded. And I feel like I've been a crazy person for 2 decades saying this shit, telling other adults these things, going, I feel like if we just all said this shit is gay and retarded, we wouldn't have to do it anymore, right? Isn't that kind of the way everything works, where we just have to, like, if you go along to get along, then you have to keep doing it, but if you don't, you don't? If everybody kind of said, I don't want to operate in baby land anymore, maybe you wouldn't have to operate in baby land anymore. And I do feel like this is sort of we're on the precipice of something. Maybe with Trump, I don't expect him to do anything, but it does feel like that pendulum swing, but also this sort of new dawn, a new horizon unfolding in front of us. And maybe, just maybe, these younger folks who are seeing a fella go bang, bang, bang in the street, I hope it doesn't inspire them to do more bang, bang, bang. But I do hope that it makes them go, wait, what the fuck is all this shit that got set up for us and we never had a say in? Because that's what we've been locked in. We've just been locked in for fucking 80 years into a system that just nobody has second guessed. And everybody understands boomers are bad and terrible and fucked everything up. And then we just keep going, Guess we'll just keep doing their ideas. Good enough for me. So, sorry, bit of a tangent from the Nick Fuentes shit, but it all boils down to a guy with a gun. If a guy with a gun shows up to a man's house or to a man in the street, the man does not deserve the guy with the gun. But that doesn't mean that the man doesn't deserve ridicule. And that doesn't mean the man doesn't deserve a guy with a red ski mask showing up with a silly sign. Maybe, just maybe, if a fella by the name of Luigi had joined the Podawful cult, he wouldn't be in jail right now. Maybe, just maybe, he'd be
at Dick Masterson's house, leaving an inflatable cow.
Oh, listen, I didn't want to add any more goons that we've showed up to the list, but sure, yeah, that's the one. So I want to apologize because our phase 4 is off to a rocky start, but it's going to get better and it's going to get good. I don't want to get people scared out of doing henchman shit because we're doing henchman shit. It's happening, and it's going to be funny, and it's going to be big. And it's going to get noticed. This one was an accident. This one was extracurricular, and we just showed up at the wrong time. Imagine.
A dry run.
A dry run. Imagine if we had some planning. Imagine if we knew what we were doing for an instant. So I want to say sorry to Nick Fuentes, which is the only time I'm ever going to say anything like this, but you shouldn't have to deal with this stuff. I made a big, I'm of two minds. I want to pull the video down, but I don't want it to look like I think I did something wrong and I'm hiding evidence.
Pull the video down.
No part of me wants to make, I have no part of me that thinks I did something wrong here and I'm trying to hide something. It's not like that. I do think that it's a bad look. It's a bad look right now. 2 weeks from now, would it be a bad look? Yes. 3 weeks from now, sorta, but it probably wouldn't get as much attention and it would be okay. Right now, it's a bad look. So in that vein, as a way of saying sorry, I want to offer...
Everyone just close their eyes. Just close their eyes for 3 weeks, then it's all good.
I want to offer something to Nick. Again, Nick, has doxed and swatted people himself a million times. He's led the charge against people fucking with other people. So as my way of saying sorry to Nick, I will give you Dirk's address.
Hell yeah.
Well, how is that fair?
How is that fair? You showed up to the guy's house threatening to rape him. You're afraid.
It was like 20% your idea too.
No.
No. My idea was to go to the courthouse.
There was nobody there.
I specifically said
fiasco is your fault.
I specifically said do not go to his house. I really did say that.
You did actually, yeah.
I said it. It's my fault for posting the video. It's your and again, technically, if this had been yesterday, it'd be no harm, no foul whatsoever. Everybody would be laughing. High five. It'd be way funnier if it happened yesterday, actually. But I think, Dirk, give him your address just to make so we can end this and it can be done with it. Give Nick Fuentes your address.
No, I'm not giving him my address.
Give him your fucking address.
How am I supposed to give him my address?
Fair is fair.
Like, how am I supposed to give him his address? I mean, my address to him.
No, you just say it right now.
Just give me
is Jesse frozen?
Nope, I'm just sitting still.
Oh.
That is dirt shit.
Wow.
I should look at the fan.
I can't take even a moment to myself. Oh my god. Urquhart was like terrified.
Or you just stopped talking.
Didn't notice
all right.
the fan.
Dirk, you thought your T3 chip went out.
My apologies.
Dirk, give Nick Lisa's address. That's the right thing to do. It's journalism. It's the news. The news. Listen, the news doxed Nick. Now the other journalist has to be doxed. So give him Lisa's address. It's only fair.
I'll give him Alex Stein's address. I did this all for Alex.
No,
I'm still a journalist for Alex.
No, let's not dig this hole any deeper. I've already got a whole 2 or 3 Alex Stein shows I need to do. Which, by the way, see you guys soon for those and for a Podawful World War coming up soon here as well. Daily shows happening as soon as everything is ready to go. I don't know when that's going to be. I thought it was going to be Monday, and it turns out no. Okay, we're not there yet. And I know what you're thinking, Jesse. The show, we're seeing it. You're doing it right now. You have no clue. You got no clue. Just promise me you'll just say, I understand, Jesse. I'm so sorry for ever doubting you.
I understand, Jesse.
Thank you so much. Did you guys enjoy the intro, by the way? How about that
Yes,
intro?
it was awesome.
Yeah, the intro is really cool.
All right, yeah. I didn't even want to show you guys that, but I had no other way to intro the show. I had to show it. I wanted to save that for the big comeback. This was something.
Yeah. This is a pretty big comeback.
It's a pretty big comeback. But
give it a year.
Give it 1 year, please. Listen, we'll be back ASAP. I'm hoping before Christmas, but if not, in the new year, we'll be back and we'll be doing it daily. I've got so many shows lined up. Join the Pizza Fund, watch the old shit. Buy a shirt, podawful.shop. We've also still got a sweater up on the shop that will disappear as of January 1st. Our awful clickhead sweater. So one of a kind. So get it now. And what else?
Where do we get our henchman gear?
You get that on your own time, and you do have to do that. Everybody,
okay.
The henching is coming. This is just, I don't know. What do we think? Should we put our fucking boots away and never do this again? Am I going the wrong direction with this?
No,
I'm a little bit terrified. Scott, you were saying before all of this, I asked, should I take this thing down? Is it optically too bad? And
no.
You more than anybody were championing this video and everything about it.
All press is good press.
I feel like that's a mistake to, walk it back. Just live in the moment. See what comes of it. Something might even better come from it. You don't know.
Yeah,
come from it.
So do you have your hench gear ready, and are you ready to go out there and do this shit?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah, it's real easy to say down under while you're not planning on putting boots on the fucking ground, isn't it? Oh no, leave the video up.
There needs to be a summer version of the henchman outfit. It's not designed for summer. It's not designed for an Australian summer. It's way too heavy.
It's not
gloves?
designed
You
for...
telling me gloves?
It's not designed for comfort. It's designed for henching. Okay?
Two guys outside.
One last time. Let's take a look one last time at the video.
Is that a sheriff? Yeah, it looks like a sheriff. Wait, are they serving? That was good. That was fine. Can you zoom in?
This is insane that this happened. This is so crazy.
It's like the Christian thing.
That little peek around the corner Nick does too. I'll give you this. It's great video work for once.
Yeah.
I cannot be mad about the video work. It's actually perfect for once. No fear. But look at that pile of garbage just sitting there. He just made the cops step over it.
I thought that was coleslaw for sure, but no.
I mean, he might need some slaw.
What is that stuff on the porch?
And of course, now if you look, I cannot even tell you what I had to do to get Dirk's penis to stop showing up in this shot. You just, the unaltered footage, I had to put 3 filters on this to try to hide his little wiener there. Because I knew people were going to think this is me. And then his little wiener sitting there. Dirk, how come every single time you do anything for the show, your penis is hanging out? What is the deal?
I don't know.
Tuck it back.
Lisa has a degree.
You're going. You're going to.
I have big thighs. I don't know.
I'm not going to drink my own pee.
You're going to Nick Fuentes' house. You're allowed to tuck it back just one time, okay? I mean, Jesus Christ. Dude, this is journalism. This is true journalism.
Is the outfit.
Is it true, Dirk, that you wear compression underwear to try and prevent this from happening?
So look, I had to punch in above his waist so you don't. It was too distracting. His entire ball sack, the dangle of his triangle. And then he waves at a car and drops the sign like a retard. Look at this. And I tried to cut this. I wanted your wave in there because I thought that was funny. And then you expose your address. By the way, if you want Dirk's address, Nick, there it is on the cardboard box. Just zoom in and enhance. And now you can.
Good luck.
Now you can go to Dirk's house. I told you.
You scan that barcode.
You scanned the barcode, and now look. Dirk doxed himself, so we're even. Okay.
I mean, I know bad things have happened, but hear me out. How cool would it be to see Nick Fuentes try and have an altercation with Dirk's father?
He'd lose immediately.
Join the Pizza Fund, Podawful.pizza to see Dirk's father, by the way. I will say, listen, whatever you feel about this whole thing, this shot right here, kind of iconic, kind of good, and just wait. You're going to be seeing a lot more of this shit very, very soon. Oh, by the way, new feature, $40 members of the Pizza Fund. You are now executive producers of the show. Congratulations. You now get your own credit at the end. So until next time.
I don't like that.
Why? What? You don't want a credit? You're in there, Cole. Why don't you like it?
I know. I don't want it to be like a Patreon thing or thanks for coming, guys.
This is why I'm only doing the $40. It's like gotta be the most insane people. You're literally, if you're doing $40, you literally are. And a producer is just a guy.
I guess you're right. You're right.
A producer is just a guy.
I'm being a Streisand.
Like that's all a producer is on a movie or whatever, a TV show, is a guy who gives money so that the thing can happen. If you're giving $40, I gotta give you something. I considered doing $20 too, but fucking $20 people get their money's worth. The $40 people deserve it. And if you're in the $40 level and you don't see your name in the list, it's because I either missed you somehow. Hey, shut the fuck up! Shut up! I either missed you somehow or you don't have a username on the website. Make sure you got a username on the Pizza Fund, okay? So you'll see it in the credits here. Until next time, have an awesome
Oh, Jesse, may I ask you real quick?
No,
did you decide...
I'm ending the show the worst possible time. I was literally ending the show, and you just keep talking. What do you do? I almost hit the button. What?
Well, for the $40 level, is it going to be like a promo code or still a free shirt?
I'm removing your name from the credits.
Oh, thank you.
That you could have asked that after the show. Okay, it's
yeah,
by the way,
that's why I asked it.
$40 people got a promo code. Okay, they got one. That happened already. You got a promo code. Okay.
Yeah, I meant like moving forward.
Shut the fuck up. And again,
I love you too.
Also on the, you're a producer, so I'll let this slide. But I will say this: on the daily episodes, it won't be a big gaggle like this. Okay. I'm just going to have a couple co-hosts. We'll just have a few people in just so I can bounce off of people. It won't be a lot of interruptions like this, okay? I know now that Cast Iron's not allowed to co-host ever. If you're going, I'm literally saying have an awful day, and you're like, oh, by the way, one last thing. No. No. Okay? So... we good?
Yeah, but one last thing.
Fuck you. All right, have an awful day.
I'm sorry.
Jesse, before you end it, I just wanted to ask.
I have autism. I can't help it.